Welcome back to the channel. This is Trendy Storm and you are watching third and final part of what if Naruto became the first Chakra Sage. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to this channel. Now wasting no time, let's start the story.
Sasuke, Naruto, and Hinata were anticipating Kakashi. He had not been late since the wave mission 2 weeks prior, but now he was an hour late. Hinata said, and here I thought he wasn't going to be late. Then Sasuke said, I think you spoke for all of us. Before Kakashi showed up, Naruto concluded that she did. Sorry, I'm late. Junin meeting, which finished about 5 minutes ago, along with a little surprise from Kurenai. In fact, she told off Iruka after his outburst. Kakashi said, the Hokage wanted me to stay behind and explain something to me and Iruka afterwards, and now you see why I'm late. Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata were taken aback because it was verifiable and legitimate. What, exactly, did Iruka speak up about? Kakashi answered, his students that are no longer his. He pulled out 3 pieces of paper and tossed them. In any case, he said. 1 week, Academy. Room 332. 1000 hours. If you want to go through the Chunin exams, sign those and be at that location. Each of them gave a nod. Kakashi departed after saying, until then, you are dismissed, and no missions. Hinata nodded as Naruto glanced at her. Hinata turned to face Sasuke as Naruto departed in a fire shunshin. For now, focus on your individual training, or relax. Your decision, but remember the plans. Sasuke shrugged. I go for relaxing. After the past few months, I seriously need some relaxation time. It was at that point, Sakura found them. There you were, Sasuke. Sakura said, running up to him. Please tell me you were admitted to the Chunin exams. With an arched eyebrow, Sasuke questioned, what, second thoughts on entering? Sakura gave a headshake. I'm above and beyond what I was in the academy. I'm not really worried about it, to be honest. I was just hoping that you were, so I can at least shut Ino up in front of you. I heard something about her planning to take you during the exams, no matter how low the chance of success is. Because of this, I figured I'd let you know, so you can actually expect her to try something. Sakura was somewhat shocked when Sasuke said, unfortunately for her, I have bigger fish to fry in these exams. The blonde mind fucker is the least of my worries. Sakura then shook her head. I get it. Someone from another village found you and you want to take them down, or something? Maybe knock them down a few pegs? That, you'd have to ask Naruto. Hinata attracted their attention by adding, or Kurenai. Sensei. What? She's already in the know about this, as it involves one of her friends. Which, by the way, Naruto left to finally take care of the thing. Sasuke's eyes widened. You mean? Sasuke smirked as Hinata went on. Yeah. Someone else in the village has it, but after today, it's likely to be gone. And that process has started, as of last night. With a grin that never went away, Sasuke uttered, it's about damn time, and the other project? Standard for both of us. He has the modified one, but he hasn't figured out much on designs for customization for us, much less be able to make them in time, so that's why we have the standard design. Hinata replied, before tossing him a scroll. It's in there, and would go under your usual clothing. There's a cloak as well, since your usual clothing wouldn't cover it all. The team logo we came up with is on all 3 of them, in the same spot. The titles we came up with for ourselves are also there. I don't need the cloak, which only has the team logo on the front, and your title on the back. Why didn't either of you get a custom one? Because there wasn't enough time to make a second one. And these 2 he made before he went for his. They're built to not only withstand Yuki, but become empowered by it. With Naruto on our team, we need it more than anyone else. Sasuke replied. Also, if I get him designs, do you think he could make one? He can try. Not sure if he can, but it will take at least 3 weeks to have it made. The lack of materials is one problem, which he has covered with a C rank, but that will take a while. Replied Hinata. Anything else we should know? Sakura said, yeah, think he could make one for me as well? Without your team logo, of course. I'm good with the standard, and that Yuki repulsing ability should come in handy. Sasuke said, oh, and why is that? Ran into a redhead from Sanagakure earlier. Sakura said, earning raised eyebrows. He seemed to have 2 chakra signatures. I learned a lot about sensory abilities, but I didn't pick up the other one until after I looked straight at him from maybe 10 feet away. Until then, I didn't even notice. It seemed dangerous. Hinata caught the look on her face and her eyes widened. Sasuke caught the reaction. Sakura, name, looks, we need that kind of information. At that, Sakura arched an eyebrow. Do I even want to know why? Wide-eyed, Sasuke remarked, because if he turns his full fury on you, you'll die. Out of our entire graduating class, if only the second chakra you found in him is the dangerous one, Naruto and I are the only ones that stand a chance against him. Naruto more so than me. Why him? Inquired Sakura. His bloodline finally activated. Hinata told her, it will be especially useful for people like Gaara. Sakura sighed at that, and nodded. Red hair, brownish-green eyes, kanji for love on his forehead. Left side. He seems to carry a giant gourd on his back everywhere. Sasuke and Hinata nodded at that. If he goes up to you, do not fight him. If it's an official match, forfeit before it even begins. Sasuke said. Earning a nod, and then a look of shock as she turned to Hinata. How did you know his name? Sakura gave Hinata a look of admiration as she answered, took a guess. But Sasuke is right, let your team know not to mess with him. If provoked, he may just kill you. If he doesn't, the least that is likely to happen is the end of your ninja career. This is no joke. If he is mentally unstable, as I heard he was, then there is nothing that will stop him once he gets in a killing mood. Even Naruto would be questionable in that. Sasuke, no chance. The Hokage, no chance. Why would only a genin be questionable, but the Hokage would have no chance? The Yondaime Hokage was said to have killed the Kyuubi, correct? Hinata asked, earning a nod. That was wrong. The Kyuubi is still alive, and being purified as we speak. The Yondaime couldn't kill it, but its cage is purifying it. Something that would actually give Naruto an advantage over him. His bloodline would easily seem hard. Wired for demon slaying. That's what Gaara has within him. That's just wrong. Sakura admitted. Don't tell me he was treated like a demon as well. From what I know, he has. Hinata admitted. Come on, Sakura, you and I need to talk. I already figured out about Naruto, just from what you said. Hinata and Sasuke tensed a bit. And right now, I could really care less if he was or not. He's not someone I'm worried about. I'm not going to go after him because he has more in him than Sasuke-kun. I'm good where I'm at relationship-wise, but I should still get stronger. Then Sasuke adopted a contemplative expression. You said you had perfect chakra control, right? To which Sakura answered, yeah, I always do. Hinata, do you have one of those chakra cards? You want to see her affinities? Hinata took one out and gave it to her, saying, only to prove a theory. Channel chakra into it. The paper didn't even sag, despite being dripping wet. They were both taken aback by this. Normally, it would sag a bit, due to the water dripping, but this one didn't. I'd say we seriously need to find out what this is. What the hell just happened? Sakura asked. I mean, I know it's water from the water dripping from it, but it didn't even sag. That's what I want to know. Sasuke admitted. They both looked at Hinata, who had her back turned. I know it's water, but it should have sogged up enough for, wait, here it is. If a person with only a water affinity has it at a high enough level, the Uzumaki chakra paper will. It was the next words that came up made her eyes widen. This is so wrong. Sasuke was surprised at the slight stutter at the beginning. Alright, what did you find out? Sasuke asked, curiously. Sasuke, have we told you how easy it was for Naruto to learn wind jutsu? Yeah, he could learn an S-rank wind jutsu in 5 hours flat. Why? Sakura is the same way, except for one difference. Her element is water, and with her control. Sakura retreated to the bridge's edge and uttered, don't tell me I have a similar affinity to the Nidaime. If I do. Then what? Inquired Hinata. Hinata shook her head and said, then I'd probably have to be related to him. Not a relation. Just as much of an affinity as he did. Officially. Contrary to popular belief, he also had wind. That's why he could pull the water out of the air. You have a higher affinity for water than he did. Hell, you have a higher affinity for water than I do. And that's saying something. It's beyond God. Like, and with your control, which is a usual Haruno trait, by the way. As Sakura almost exclaimed, I could pull it from the air. This is good. This is really good. Sasuke cautioned, don't let it get to your head. I almost did the same with my Sharingan. If not for Naruto, I would have let it get to my head. It wouldn't lead anywhere but the deep end. Sakura gave him a brief glance before nodding. Suddenly, a smile appeared on her face. I just got a crazy idea for our teams. Let the others think what they want on it. Hinata acknowledged the effects of that smile and said, I'm listening. Let's see how well the others react to our old personalities, at first. Me, as the helpless kunoichi known for nothing but her brain. Sasuke, the emo. Brooder, no offense. None taken. That's what I was back in the academy, though you missed something. Sakura raised an eyebrow and said, the arrogance that seems to have disappeared. What? I noticed, I just didn't care. That was a fangirl thing, even if you do see the faults you don't let on, or ignore them completely. Also, take care to note of my old screech. I've toned it down a lot, but if we're going that far back, it might come out. Please don't. Sasuke almost went white. Sakura acknowledged, it's part of my old image, but I can tone that down a bit. Then there's one other thing. Ino doesn't know you have 2 girlfriends already, and she'd be livid if she found I was one of them. The old rivalry, which was a little stupid if you ask me now, would not let me put that down, and she'd play it off as a bluff. Hinata, there's the shy side of you, which would be known for a while. Only reveal our true strength when necessary, or to shock everyone that knows us, mainly Team 10. The shy me has been outdated and the word of that has already gotten to the public. Hiding my new self is close to impossible. Outside of Haku, no one can claim to be able to keep Sasuke happy, because she didn't fawn over him, and still doesn't. If you want to hit Naruto for doing something stupid, like you did in the academy, well, you won't have to bother. I'll take care of that. A few words, and I can shut him up quickly. You should also let your team know. We'll let Naruto know. Sasuke replied. Don't even let your sensei know about this. Sakura grinned and nodded. I'll do that. By the way, I heard something about Naruto having 2 girlfriends. Aren't you worried, Hinata? You have competition. Sakura was startled when Hinata asked, is it competition if I let her in? She loves him for him. Nothing more, nothing less. Plus, she's like him in Gaara. That would explain it. But wasn't she part of another village? Wouldn't they stop her? No, they wouldn't. They hated her, and she's now a full-blown citizen of our village. She's a civilian, but the council are under a bit of a threat regarding her. Anything happens to her, those who do will suffer mercilessly. This is at the hands of the Hyuga clan, and Naruto himself. Fu landed directly in front of them at that moment. Hinata, great news. Hinata asked inquisitively, what? When Hinata and Fu announced, I'm pregnant, they jumped and hugged. Does Naruto know? No, not yet, he doesn't. I haven't been able to find him. Look for Anko. He should be with her right now. The curse? Fu asked, earning a nod. Then it should wait until he's done. Then, in her mind, Hinata heard Kyuubi's voice. Hinata, Naruto is feeling your happiness right now. Since he's busy removing the curse seal, I decided to ask myself, what the hell just happened? Well, when was the last time Fu and Naruto had sex? 2 nights ago. You know that. Well, Fu is pregnant. Good news, yes? Oh, he is gonna love this. I'll let him know as soon as the curse is gone. Also, I felt something strange during their last release. Don't let them know this, though. I have no idea what it was, or how it was caused. Until we find out for sure, I will not say a word. Good idea. But I think Fu should know. It will affect her if it has anything to do with her Biju. You should have her ask Nanabi if she felt something as well when it happened. Fu, I've got a question. Hinata started, what's up? Did the Nanabi feel anything when it last happened? Come to think of it, I found out before my check up this morning and she said the same thing. She said it felt like a pull, or something like that. Did you catch that? That I did, and this doesn't seem good. She felt the pull, and I felt the pull as well. The results of this is not going to be good. Also, know that Naruto is likely to go wild with her during this time if she is leaking anything resembling hormones around him. He can control himself in public, but if there is no one else in the area, you not included, there's no telling what he'd do. Normally, a Jinchuriki would have an extra month for pregnancy. So you should let her know this. Hinata relayed the message to Fu, who nodded at that. Before an idea struck her, Sakura continued, an extra month? My mother always said that it was torture going through pregnancy. Wait, how do you know this? Hinata answered, Naruto's mother was a Jinchuriki. She did die the day he was born due to the unsealing, which was forced. Kyuubi then burst out laughing. Okay. What's so funny? Oh, nothing much. Just the kid's reaction to Fu's condition, and when he let Anko know, who is completely fine, by the way, she reacted in a way that you would have before your little change. She fainted. I don't know why, but yeah, she did. After hearing something she said like that, Naruto fainted. I'm keeping the barrier up, so no one can find us while they're out of it. Find Kurenai, and tell her that it's done. And if she finds us, the blood on Naruto's nose was not because of what he saw from Anko, but because of what he heard. Seriously, I got him far more used to stuff like that before you even signed. Really? How? You don't want to know. Now I'm even more curious. You know his sexy jutsu and his harem jutsu? Yeah, what about it? You want to know the effect of using them on him daily, as a lust-filled kitsune, flirting with you? Details. Kyubi explained everything in detail, causing her nose to slightly bleed in front of the other 3 people. Okay, now that. Him and me, tonight. I'd want that. You know, you're radically different from your old self, so much so, it's surprising. Hinata inquired, you sure about that? I mean sure I've changed, but that much? You have no idea. I should let Naruto know about this. Perhaps the 2 of you can figure it out, as I'm currently stumped for ideas. What about the tag.out incident? My mind seems to think a little differently since then. Well, shit. Being close to him during may have triggered some kind of change, but we can't figure out what the hell it is. I'm thinking a more perverted mind, with less effects. I'm actually somewhat like I always wanted to be. Maybe a little more than I hoped, with my shy attitude, but yeah. Confident and strong. I'm both. Maybe it's been getting to your head, you'll have to get that checked out. Hinata turned her head just as she was about to respond. Fu followed suit. When Sasuke saw this, he immediately became vigilant. What is it? Sakura was confused at all this. Am I missing something? There was a shunshin seemingly made of sand. From it, Gaara, who Sakura immediately recognized and stood still, appeared. Where is Uzumaki? I can smell him among you. Hinata acknowledged that, what you smell is me. Or it could be me, being pregnant. Fu continued, especially since it's his child. The redhead gave her a look. How many? Sakura was the only one confused by this. 7. You? Fu replied. Gaara said, 1. And then turned to Sakura. Get lost, now. Sakura gave a headshake. You're like Naruto and Fu. Why should I just because you hold a biju? Gaara was nervous. Before you ask, they told me. Confusion reigned as Gaara asked, is she in the loop? According to Sasuke, no, she isn't, and she won't be until it truly involves her. Sakura gave him a look. What do you mean? This is something you're better off not knowing until you're so deep in its ass, you'd be popping out of its mouth. Sasuke told her. If you were told now, you'd freak, and tell someone. I'm not risking that just yet. We still need a degree of secrecy here. Unfortunately, or fortunately in your case, you're not involved much, if at all. Okay, what about Haku? Sasuke answered, in direct relation, but not completely involved. What she knows, she got from Naruto, not me. Sakura questioned, you don't trust me, is that it? If it were that, I'd just tell you to scram instead of saying what I have so far. The less people know, the better. Sasuke replied to her. Sakura gave him a look and nodded. I expect some answers later. Before turning to face Gaara, Sasuke assured her, and you'll get them when it's necessary. Any other news? Gaara answered, not that she should be aware of. Sakura gave him a cautious glance before turning to see Sasuke nod. Sakura nodded as she said, okay, fine. I'll go. But you better make it up to me. She took off running. Hinata gave Sasuke a look. You know she's going to want to pick out how you make it up to her. Sasuke informed her, and if it's information, then it's a no-go. Anyway, what's the news? Gaara talked a while. The others gave a nod. That is all I have. From here on out, use the Tanuki for that kind of information. Fu stated to him. That's bound to be a lot better. Also, I'm surprised you're not as bloodthirsty as the Tanuki claimed you were. Hinata continued. That was mainly a cover for me, to be used until my idiot of a father is dead. Which it seems he is already dead. Gaara acknowledged. No one else has noticed, however. Only me. Are you going to let Uzumaki know? He ultimately asked. Fu and Hinata both nodded. In the meantime, in the Death Foresta. Although Naruto was waking up first, both he and Anko were unconscious. Oh no, what took place? About time you woke up. I was beginning to think you'd be out of it all night. Oh, stop it. In any case, was it successful? Naruto stood up, saw Anko's half-naked body, and kept his eyes on the neck, saying, see for yourself. Alright, it appears to be gone. Levels of corruption. Naruto placed his hand on her shoulder, but as soon as another mark showed up, he withdrew it. Wow, it went down far. With 2 fangs instead of 3 commas, it was different from the previous one. That's new. Then Anko appeared to awaken. She moaned, what happened? And then noticed Naruto nearby. Did it work? Naruto stated, it's purified, that's for sure. However, it seems that something else has replaced it. The symbol even changed. Incredulous, Anko checked for herself. Fangs? I don't get it either. Naruto admitted. Try to access it. If it's still corrupted, I'll be able to sense it. Anko just looked at him incredulously. Don't look at me like that. This is something we have to learn on the fly. She sighed and closed her eyes. The mark started to glow a silver and then spread. Naruto was ready for anything that could come out, especially if she were to attack. The moment she stood up, she looked at him. Well, what's the verdict? Naruto stared at her intently and then nodded. It's good. It seems to be completely purified. However, there is one more thing that I think must be done. Only as a safety precaution, though. She looked confused, so he turned around and showed his shoulder blade. This is what I'd be giving you. It will prevent mind-altering seals, such as the old curse mark or the caged bird seal, and get rid of them as they are placed, before they can set in. Anything on the body already will not be affected. That's the result of testing long ago, at least. She gave a nod. Naruto drew the markings behind her and said, I trust you. She grunted as he began to activate it. He sighed a few seconds later. It's done. No one can know that you have it, though. Also, know that no one can find out that your mark has been purified, so no one has to seal it again. Wait, wasn't it sealed before? It's not anymore, but anything that it would do to your mind will be stopped. It's a piece that we figured out while using it ourselves. Also, the Yamanaka clan's mind transfer jutsu will not affect you, period. You are not able to be possessed, as the mark would expel them immediately. Sweet. That's a nice defense. After receiving a nod, Naruto said, I know, isn't it great? You should head home and get some rest. Wait, are you taking the Chunin exams? Yeah, why? If you make it to the second part, I'm putting your team in the northeast sector. Naruto told her, sweet. That'll help us. Anko controlled the mark, and it returned with ease. Looks like it listens to you. Anko said, I know, and then she turned around. Let's get going. I've got a few things to take care of in the forest. If this is where the second portion is, then my team is going to have an advantage. For this reason, I think I should play my advantage to the max. Naruto had a smirk on his face, which made Anko grin. I'll see you later. He jumped into the forest. Anko huffed and jumped off. I was really hoping he would use that flame teleport once more. It's truly awesome. Hinata and Kurenai were there when she emerged from the forest. She touched down directly in front of them. What's up, Kurenai? Kurenai answered, I heard he just performed it. I want to see if it worked. Before the marks began to appear, Anko said, better than I hoped. Hinata did not jump back, but Kurenai did. Hinata questioned, you're now in full control of it, aren't you? Sure am. Smiled Anko. Kurenai approached her while remaining vigilant, saying, he even noticed that the shape of the mark changed. It went from the commas that it was before to a pair of fangs. She showed off the other seal she had received. Kurenai, there is nothing that can be done to get rid of it, but he did manage to purify it. For that, I'm thankful, also, she said. So, he even gave you that? Hinata asked. Sure did. Hurt a bit, but nowhere near as much as the snake bastard's mark. As Kurenai put it, you know that mark? Before revealing it on herself, Hinata said, of course. After all, I've got it on myself. It'll help protect bloodlines, and if Orochimaru tries to activate the seal he placed, the one on her will either stop it, or it won't work, period. They both gave her a startled look. Sure, he could have just placed it, but then you'd still be in danger of the corruption, and he didn't want that. He either wanted the whole thing, or any threat to you gone. Either one worked. He went back to training until he drops. I'm not fond of it, but I know he wanted nothing more than to get rid of thing. When Kurenai realized how close the two were, he nodded at her. I'm glad you're in control of it, and it won't hurt you. I'll admit it stings a little, but I think that's because it's not originally my chakra. So, I can't use it all the time, unless I get used to it, said Anko. Well, then I guess we're done with everything regarding the curse. Is Naruto nearby? Hinata asked, earning a nod from Anko. Alright, can you let him know that Fu and I have information on that? It'll happen back at the house. Anko and Kurenai looked at each other and nodded. Hinata left after that. Anko reined in her mark. Well, that was strange. What do you think she was talking about? Kurenai said, no idea. Then a flame appeared that was bright orange with hints of white and yellow. Both of them gazed at it, alert. I saw that you activated the mark, Anko. Its voice was uncannily similar to Naruto's. Startled, Anko questioned, wait, you can monitor it? Surprised me as well. I also noticed Hinata and Kurenai. Sensei were present. You weren't showing off, were you? No, I wasn't. Anko replied, earning a confused look from Kurenai. I didn't think you'd be able to monitor it. Neither did I, to be honest. I think it's because my bloodline is what was used, but I can't be sure, to be honest. If it doesn't stop after my chakra is gone from your system, then we'll know it's a permanent effect. Good to know. Anything else I should know? I can't seem to monitor the chakra levels from this distance, so the mark won't allow me to do so. Only when you turned it on and when you stopped using it do I know. I cannot understand the flow of it. Good to know. I think this is something that I'd have to get used to. Hold off until after the Chunin exams, and anticipate hearing a lot of forest screams. The moment you told me you'd pull every ace you had, I kind of expected it, to be honest, said Anko. I am close to you because of this. You know how I think, and I know how you think. Anko said, tell me about it. Then Kurenai saw that Naruto's voice was projected onto the flame. Naruto. What exactly did you do to her? Easy. Anko concealed a smile after a pause that made Kurenai involuntarily learn more. I'm descended from it. Kurenai face-faulted at the answer, and Anko released a laugh. Now that I've had my fun for the day, I think I'll get back to work preparing the forest, and then head home. But before I do, Anko, why don't you try dating Iruka Amino? He was the only one in the academy that didn't hate me for you know what. Anko stopped laughing when she heard that. Are you sure? He said in front of both me and the Hokage that he thinks of me as a brother. He even refused when an S-class secret regarding my parents was about to be told to me, saying if anyone would have to know besides me, it's him. So he truly cares for you? Anko asked. Yeah, but I'll be the first to admit he didn't seem like it at first. In hindsight, it took him a while to see who I really was, but at least he made the effort to actually look beyond reputation, and see the real being. Look underneath the underneath, so to speak. Hey, well, if he's good in your books, then he's good in mine. I might actually try this out. Anko said, feeling a grin on the other side of the flames before it disappeared. Well, I'm out. I'm going to rest up before asking him tomorrow. Kurenai looked at her incredulously. You place that much faith in him? If anything, I trust his word. I also felt that he seemed happy when I said I'd give it a chance, Anko retorted. The next day. Anko was walking up to the academy, which was just let out. She found the scarred Chunin leaving as well. Anko? What are you doing here? Iruka asked. Looking for you. She held up a hand when he looked like he was about to ask a question. Any questions will be answered later during our little date. Iruka was surprised, and it showed. Okay. What the hell is going on? This is the only thought going through his head. She grabbed his hand, and took him elsewhere. They ended up in a training area, which seemed like it was abandoned long ago. Why are we here? If this were a date. It's secluded. One of the few places in the area that are. The only other ones happen to be the Forest of Death, which is actually my favorite, to be honest, and right behind the Hokage monument. Iruka saw the reasoning. What she wanted to talk about was supposed to be private, and so was what he wanted to know. Alright, I don't get what kind of game you're playing. What do you truly think of Naruto Uzumaki? Anko asked, surprising Iruka with the reference. Are you one of those that would kill him if they got the chance? Iruka countered, a little anger in his voice. Anko picked it up and smirked. That's not a no, but a hell fucking no. Anko ended up shouting, surprising Iruka. The blonde Gaki is like a brother to me, and he's the only reason I bothered to ask anyone out. Iruka then smiled. That answered my only question before all this. Anko looked at him. As for your question, he's always been like a brother to me. At least, after I found out he was like me in way. Always looking for attention, even if it was the wrong kind. I never told him the extent of how much we were alike in the academy, but if you saw him before he discovered his heritage, even if only by accident, you'd have a pretty good idea of who I was way back when. And your first response was to see if I would hurt you for actually being close to him? Pretty much. Iruka admitted. I care for him a lot, even treated him to ramen from time to time. I couldn't every day, as he cleaned me out each time, but still if I died because of being close to him, he wouldn't like it. Anko smiled at that. It wasn't the sadistic smile that everyone else saw on her, and it surprised Iruka. This smile was a genuine smile, one he only saw on Naruto recently. Yeah, she's happy I'm actually close to him, and wouldn't want to harm him. He smiled himself. And she's the same way. Naruto, you're one sly fox. You got two people together that no one would guess. They ended up talking for a while, but then Iruka's stomach growled. Sounds like somebody's hungry. Anko teased, before her own stomach growled. Looks like I'm not the only one. Iruka countered. Luckily, I was able to save money due to a lack of Naruto asking for ramen, even refusing it once, so I can actually afford a rather large meal. Then what do you say we go see if he's at Ichiraku's himself? Anko suggested. At least to thank him, if not eat there. I'll be the first to admit ramen is not my favorite, but everyone knows that. Iruka smiled. Yeah, dango would be your favorite, unless I'm mistaken. She giggled at that. Hey, I pay attention to everything I can. All chunin know of your dango fanaticism, and from what I can tell, it's on par with Naruto being a Ramaniac. Ramaniac? Anko asked, confused with the term. You mean to tell me he likes ramen as much as I love dango? She got a nod in response. Well, considering the fact that those at Ichiraku's were glad he kept coming is good enough of a reason to like it. No one else wanted anything to do with him. I'm surprised he didn't come to the dango stand I came to. They didn't care about me being there. In fact, they liked my presence. Well then, let's go. Iruka replied, before they jumped off towards Ichiraku's. They found that no one was there. Well, looks like he's not here, Iruka said, sad. Iruka? You haven't been here in a long time. Hasn't Naruto been eating ramen lately? Tucci inquired. Actually, until recently, he had been too busy to speak with me at all. I wasn't able to speak with him, much less do anything else, until a few weeks ago. Yeah, he hasn't been coming back until recently either. Ayame acknowledged. He said it was because something big has come up, but I've actually gotten a bit worried about him. To their surprise, Anko said, you two were always so kind to him. I had assumed you wouldn't be present. When Tucci finally noticed Anko, he said, you're his #1 customer. You usually go over to Onimaru's shop for dango. And Naruto's yours. Replied Anko. I actually came here to see if he was here, but if he was, I missed him. Well, that's where you're wrong, Anko. A voice behind him said, I was actually on my way, to be honest. They all recognized Naruto, but were taken aback to see Hinata and Fu sitting with him. Anko grunted in satisfaction and said, I'm glad you were able to make it. Naruto smiled at her. If I have your taste buds right, you'd probably want the Sai ramen. Sai? Anko asked, confused. You like dango so much, and the Sai ramen here is actually what I get when I feel my sweet tooth acting up. Naruto admitted. However, today I'm feeling like chicken ramen. Hinata nodded. I'll take miso. I'll go for Sai ramen, as well, Fu stated. Looks like I'll try the Sai ramen, Anko added. The usual for me, Tucci. Iruka stated. Coming right up, Tucci finished all 5 bowls and Ayame placed them in 10 seconds flat. Anko was surprised at the speed. That was quick. With Naruto, you learn to be quick, or you'll be overworked fast, Ayame stated. Both Naruto and Fu had already consumed their bowls when they said, more please. You see what I mean? Ayame asked, before placing a second bowl in front of them. Anko nodded, before tasting her own ramen, surprised at the taste. This is. She ate the rest of the bowl, during the time it took Naruto and Fu to reach their 10th bowls. Of all the things I expected, this was not one of her. She caught everyone's attention. What do you mean? After finishing his 10th bowl, Naruto inquired. This is. And I'll have to apologize to someone. The best thing I've ever tasted. Anko ended earning a grin from Naruto. I knew you'd like it. Don't worry. I won't let Onimaru know about you eating here, Tucci replied. Consider it a thanks for complimenting the food here when you're the #1 customer from a competitor. Thanks, but I still think I'd have to apologize to him, Anko admitted. He and I are like you and Naruto. Tucci was a little surprised at this, but looked at Ayame, who nodded while hiding her smirk. After you all are done, we're closing up. Anko, Naruto, we'll need to talk about something. Naruto and Anko were confused. It has to do with Onimaru's shop as well as ours. Ayame admitted, earning nods from the two. What about us? Hinata inquired. We'll notify you as well if it passes, since it would primarily involve their #1 customers. Hinata, Fu, and Iruka nodded in agreement with Ayame's statement that there was no need for it otherwise. 20 minutes later, everything was closed, and Anko and Naruto stood in front of Ayame and Tucci in Tucci's living room. All right, tell me why you truly wanted to see us, Naruto inquired. I'm going to start off by saying I'm probably an idiot for refusing my daughter's idea, Tucci acknowledged. What are you saying? Anko asked, annoyed. The concept he is discussing is combining Onimaru's dango with our ramen. Better areas and double the business. Anko and Naruto were taken aback when Ayame said, perhaps even sharing recipes. Old man, why didn't you accept it? Naruto inquired. Tucci acknowledged, I mean, to me, you're more than just a customer. I wasn't sure if he'd like you in his shop, regardless of me wanting you to be there. It has always been. To me, you resemble a son more. And that applies to Onimaru and me to the same degree. Dad and daughter. Enko continued, much better than my own father, who, incidentally, disowned me. Anything else? Actually, I was wondering if you'd go ask him for us. Ayame admitted. After all, you are more familiar with him, and if we ask, he wouldn't like it, thinking we'd try to buy him out. I get it. Enko replied. You want it to happen, but if you don't do so a certain way. She was cut off by Naruto. They'll get the wrong idea, and reject it immediately, so by asking their number one to ask about it. They might actually consider it. Enko finished, cutting off Naruto. They both looked at each other, surprised they came to same conclusion. That was weird, they said simultaneously, confusing Ayame and Tucci. Are your minds linked or something? Tucci inquired. I wish, Enko said, while Naruto was silent for a second. It is now, he ended up saying after a few seconds, isn't that right, Enko? Gaki, what are you talking about? Enko inquired. What are you saying? He remained silent, Tucci remarked. You're right. Please don't tell me he knows the telepathy jutsu, Naruto said, emphasizing the word say, which only Enko understood. I didn't say anything. Despite hearing the words, Naruto gave her a silent look and said, okay, I don't know the telepathy jutsu. Are you not conversing with telepathy? But I wasn't lying when I said I don't know the telepathy jutsu, Naruto retorted. Bingo. It is referred to as the mind link jutsu. That has got to be cool. It is, except there are times when you don't want your thoughts broadcast to everyone on the link, which includes Hinata, Fu and her tenant, Sasuke, and surprisingly, Jiraiya of the Sannin. Wait, why is Jiraiya on the list? Enko asked, confused. Godfather, that I found out about while finding out everything I could about my father. Naruto admitted. He admitted that he didn't do anything because of his own guilt, and having to find the one that did wrong to you, and isn't in the village. Now he's after the ones that are after me. Who are they? Snake Bastard was one of them at first. He left, but that leaves them. From what I found out recently, Deidara of Iwa and Sasori of the Red Sands are among them. A group of S-class rogues? They must be up to something, Enko said, startled. They are, and there's nothing we can do about it right now. Naruto admitted. For now, we ignore them. They have not actively done anything to warrant action against them. Don't worry, I know of their existence, and have been thinking of something, along with several others. They have one of their targets, as we couldn't get word to him beforehand. The other 8, myself included, are already in the know. Be glad I'm prepared for something big for a change. Enko smiled. You really have come a long way after all this. Tucci and Ayame smiled at this. You really have come a long way. Although, a group of genin managed to get inside our stand and switch our flower with daisies. Any idea why they did that? I'd either ask Sayuki Haruno, or Heishi Hyuga about that. I didn't ask for that one. Naruto admitted. It's a way to improve our genin with a kind of mock situation for war, just without the danger. So you're the reason pranks are going everywhere every now and then? I'm also the one that has been remodeling the Anbu HQ and Hokage Tower defenses. Pointing out their flaws, and even screwing with their pride is fun as hell. Naruto admitted, a smile on his face. I had full reign with them, and believe me when I say, I went all out. Tucci, Ayame, and Enko paled when he said that, for they knew one fact. When Naruto Uzumaki goes all out in traps, pranks, and the like, anyone who is aware of his skill will fear it. Anbu, Root, the Hokage, even the torture and interrogation division fear his true skill. Enko then gained a smirk. I almost pity the poor bastards that try to get past them, and end up activating them. Oh, and did I mention there is one prank I did that I denied in the face of Heishi Hyuga, and he went along with it? Which one? Tucci inquired. You remember a few months back, right after I graduated from the academy? Naruto asked, earning 3 nods. The string of pranks around that time was so devious they were wondering if Naruto had a rival. That was me, about 30 shadow clones, dozens of seals, and an infiltration mission, all at once. This ensured a giggle from Ayame, who suspected as much, and gaping mouths from Tucci and Enko. Is anyone surprised I managed to earn a title such as the Demon King of Pranks? They all shook their heads, Enko and Tucci still gaping. Ayame, being the most notable at this point, spoke up. I figure you more than earned that title. Though, you normally don't like when people call you a demon. It's true that I prefer this one because I earned it rather than having people who didn't know me associated with me. Naruto grinned and said, I don't want to brag, but my ability with pranks and traps is nothing short of God. And that is something I earned, not had in my blood, though that is still questioned by even myself. I can scare the pants off an emotionless bastard from root, and believe me when I say I have, and still go on unhindered. As do I, Tucci acknowledged. After all, when I look back, I can see two other people who were just as skilled as you, albeit much smaller. I never heard anything about them getting married, even though they dated for a few years. I assume it's the Yondaime and Kushina Uzumaki? Naruto inquired, and Tucci nodded. Come on, Tucci said, it's a wonder why they never married, if you ask me. Was he playing her, or was he really so naive that he didn't realize how much she loved him? With a perplexed expression, Naruto answered, no, and no, their marriage was kept secret, but I know of it. From there, you can undoubtedly figure out everything. You're not blind or stupid to see the parallels. Tucci's expression was thoughtful but bewildered before his eyes widened in recognition. No, it isn't possible. Their son. Yes, Anko said, turning to face Naruto. No one was supposed to know that they were actually my parents. I give them a hint about what I know, and they work it out on their own. It's very likely that they don't genuinely think I have the heritage if they don't bother to believe it. What do you mean, Dad? I mean, sure he looks like the Yondaime, but are they truly related? I'm completely confused. If he were, they wouldn't treat him that way, Ayame remarked. Given that I was ignorant of it, I believe that anyone who is already aware of it or who was aware of it from the start is either deceased or under duress to keep it a secret for fear of being executed. For a while, I sincerely hoped he was Kushina's son, but I'm not that dumb to see the warning signs. They behaved too similarly for me to believe otherwise, but I was making myself believe it was a wishful thinking. So, you actually thought it was possible, but kept finding ways to not believe it, for some reason? Naruto asked, his tone emotionless. Tucci acknowledged, I thought I was fooling myself, to be honest with you. If it's true, and I knew about it, I would have tried adopting you myself. After giving it some thought. It took 9 months for Kushina to arrive before she was declared dead. He slapped his forehead after realizing that Minato always came for takeout during that time. I am a complete moron, he said. She was actually pregnant, and I didn't even consider that possibility, said Naruto, raising an eyebrow. Isn't it true that you were their child? With a nod, Chuki said, well, I'm happy I at least met you. Really, though, why didn't they comment on it? I know my father gave me my appearance, but what did my mother really give me, based on what you saw? Naruto inquired. Tucci answered, her personality. And her surname. But how long have you known and kept it from me, I must ask? 1 month prior to my graduation. I learned about it at that point. Actually, it happened immediately after I pulled a practical joke on the Inuzuka, which caused me to temporarily vanish. I didn't see you for the next month because of that. Actually, that's why my clone didn't see you. Naruto acknowledged. They don't need to eat, and some of them, depending on the chakra type one put in them, can last for a day or weeks. I also know that he was working on some secret projects, Tucci said, nodding. I'm still curious about how many he completed before he was finished. He really only had 3 available for examination. An additional 34, yes, I did count it, were nearly there but not yet. He didn't even begin working on a few thousand of them, or even came close to doing so, but they were still concepts. I tested the ones that were ready, completed the ones he was almost done with, and even created my own project by combining at least 20 others. I've completed my project and plan to present it at the next Chunin exams. Actually, I'm happy with my project. I can actually be much more dangerous if I use those ideas, especially if I take a different path. Are you referring to the armor you brought up during the council? Tucci inquired. You were there at that point, weren't you? So, yes, it is, Naruto said, receiving a nod. Indeed, it's finished. Trust me, I haven't yet discussed the potential, and its schematics aren't being released. Tucci answered, all right. Should I inform the council? No, Fu will take my seat in the room and won't be influenced by anything they say if something were to happen while I'm taking the exams. She will strike back if her life is in danger, but not before then. She is legally entitled to that as my fiancé copyright. She already knows this, so she will be informed if I am unable to attend for any reason or if I am on a mission. Naruto acknowledged that the Hokage is aware of this. If I make it far enough to use the armor in front of them, they will see it. Anko was taken aback by Naruto's businesslike conversation, and Tucci nodded. When did you become this skilled at politics? I didn't think you were that kind of person. Well, consider my past, the fact that I never truly trusted anyone that didn't truly deserve it, Hinata excluded. Why is she not included? Ayame inquired, perplexed. I kind of took a chance. And a big one at that. She proved herself to me through that risk, and I know I can trust her. Back then, I wasn't completely sure, to be honest. I can easily say I am glad I took the risk. Naruto replied, with a bit of regret. I know I should have trusted her now, but given my childhood, do you really think that I would at that point when I still had a few doubts? They all saw the logic there and nodded. And they called you an idiot in all sense of the word. Anko said, drawing a glare from Ayame. Was I the only one that ever truly saw the gem they were dulling? Because if I was, then this village doesn't deserve your presence? Only a select few noticed, if only subconsciously. There's Iruka, Gigi, you and Hinata, though she didn't really care about that. Anyone who witnessed my abilities back then will be shocked by the commotion I caused with what may have been the largest prank ever, as well as an S-rank mission before I had a team. Which, incidentally, was used to gather proof that an elder who was actually opposed to the Hokage himself should be put to death. Hold on. Tucci's eyes were wide. You mean? Yes. The widespread chaos for which no one could determine the cause. Was something I did. All for the sake of diverting my attention so that I could obtain the evidence I required, the location of which I already knew. At that moment, Iruka, Sensei and I were both present at the stand. He didn't even know it was something that, if discovered, could result in execution. Only the Hokage, and everyone in this room is aware of it. The Anbu isn't even aware of it. Therefore, it wasn't until Danzo was exposed without his presence that the council took notice. My first council meeting was that one, and I had a great time with most of it. Watching the people who caused you to have a terrible life wriggle is a lot of fun. Admittedly, I enjoyed watching, Tucci continued. Naruto remarked, I'm just so good at getting under someone else's skin for some reason. I use that quality when necessary, but it's really helpful in politics. And I adore it. Learning how to do that would be amazing. Any suggestions? Tucci inquired. Normally, one would have to be familiar with their adversary. They all nodded. The next is knowing how to answer a question without giving away everything. I've had this knowledge in my possession, and I never used it before that meeting. In that sense, the Kyuubi himself had given me special training. Believe me when I say that you will undoubtedly learn a few things if you spend at least 4 centuries traveling around the elemental nations and no one knows who you really are during that time. I would keep that under wraps, but my training with the Kyuubi himself is the source of all my political expertise. Anko whispered, damn, that's got to be helpful. Looking at Anko, Naruto remarked, that's an understatement. The truth is, he's helped me more than most people would ever imagine. I may have caused trouble, but I was saved by his presence. How do you think I was able to get out of Anbu so easily? My senses were developing to the level of an Inuzuka's nose at the age of 7. It wasn't until later that I realized they had surpassed that level by 9. In retrospect, I could have benefited from millions of opportunities, but I chose not to. Tucci said, damn, that's got to be good for you. Do you have a precise number? I hope so. I don't think the Hunter Ninja Division as a whole has killed as many people in the last 20 years as I have discovered in retrospect. To be honest, I could have easily destroyed the village from the inside out if I had wanted to, given everything I learned. However, I didn't and I don't intend to. I don't understand. Anko informed him, anyone in your position would have taken that kind of information and used it against them. Why didn't you? In a way I did. Naruto retorted, the new defenses will be discussed at the next meeting that I actually attend. Since 3 individuals in particular are bolstering our defenses under the pretense of D-rank missions, I will be the one discussing it. I have only been asked to supply the village itself, Anbu headquarters, and the Hokage Tower. Clan compounds and stores are being taken care of during D-ranks. I love it when mere genin are being made to outrun Anbu that have no idea where they will strike. Seriously, when I could outrun Anbu as an academy student, it was just from having a little fun. The true details are outlined beforehand, and they have to pull it off with just a goal and supplies. Opposition is unknown, though usually Anbu, and they can't be caught until after a certain time frame. None of them have pulled off mine yet, and it's up to them how they get in. They can enter, execute, and exit, but they have never been able to outrun their assailants. Gosh. Anko continued, it makes people wonder how the hell you did it. When you get a question every few weeks as to how the hell I did all that as an academy student, I can believe that, replied Naruto. You're finally receiving the respect you merit, huh? Ayame inquired. Naruto said, let me tell of one time it happened. Rewind. When a genin was caught directly in front of Naruto while he was strolling down the street, the Anbu turned to face him and said, "I'm going to assume that a D rank was playing a practical joke on him." The genin gave a nod. "Are you still struggling to outrun the Anbu?" Another nod. "I believe I've seen you before. How did you manage to pull all those pranks off and not get caught?" The genin retorted, "I graduated during your first attempt, Naruto. It just doesn't seem possible." The genin looked down as Naruto motioned for the Anbu to release him and pursue the others, mouthing, "I got this." Naruto laughed and said, "Well, apparently you failed in your mission." The genin nodded and departed. "Let's go for a stroll." Naruto gestured for him to follow, and he did, and they walked to a nearby park and sat down on a bench. "They're going to capture your teammates anyway, and since you were already caught, unless your teammates can complete getting away, which I somehow doubt by the way, you failed the mission. You want to know how I did all that? Actually, the answer is fairly straightforward. If you didn't notice, the place where I lose Anbu the most frequently is in the forest." Naruto acknowledged, "I know these streets better than even the Anbu, and even then I know the forest better. Chunin or higher always follows me, but eventually, with the exception of Iruka Amino, Chunin stopped and allowed Junin and Anbu to pursue me. Are you curious as to how I managed to escape everyone except Iruka, Sensei? It's because I've spent most of my life running from threats." The genin nodded, startled. "It's been one beating after another all my life. I had made about 1,000 attempts at living by the time my 5th birthday arrived. I never shed a tear at their taunts, and I never did so in their presence. Since day one, I had been doing the impossible. Any other person would have gone insane. Furthermore, the village itself would have burned to the ground by then if I were really what they called me. But it's still standing, as you can see." Despite his surprise, the genin asked, "How did you get away from them all? Maybe some advice?" "All right." Naruto answered, "Well, let me tell you the first thing you need to know. Normally, those are tools of the trade, but I think I can give them out to someone else. My senses have become almost unthinkable. I'm not referring to my eyes. I'm referring to my nose, ears, and even the wind itself, which I only noticed after I turned into a genin. I had been unconsciously doing that. My senses seemed to double or even triple in the forest, so I made use of all of them. In other words, I can easily survive for a month in a forest." "A forest is where you perform best. Why, are you aware of Training Ground 44's reputation?" A nod. "Did you know that during the academy, I occasionally trained there?" He shook his head, saying, "To be honest, I feel more at home in that forest than in my apartment. Later on, I discovered that I can literally feel the wildlife welcoming me into any forest, as though I belonged there rather than where I am now. In a sense, I'm a natural at the forest. It is more beneficial to me than the village itself. Everything is based on experience. You cannot assume that you will automatically learn how to outrun Anbu. You are seriously underestimating them if you do expect to. So what am I going to do? Develop your quickness, slyness, and stealth. My speed came from years of experience, and my cunning came somewhat naturally, but I didn't bother with stealth myself. Iruka was the only person to catch me in the process following my second academy failure. I was not caught by the Anbu. I was always able to outsmart them. It's not simple, mind you. Have you been picking up knowledge in ways that nobody else would? In the end, he asked. You're starting to understand. Although I can only explain in retrospect, Naruto acknowledged, I wouldn't have been able to tell you anything if I had tried to explain this to you prior to my graduation. When it came to academics, I was a dunce. It's simple. My academy experience prepared me for the real thing to some extent. Pranks are comparable to wartime search and destroy missions and escaping from Anbu. That's essentially the same as outrunning your pursuers even though you know they are superior to you. That's the real reason for missions like that. In my case, at least. So you can hide and flee from almost anybody? I don't get found if I don't want to be found. It's simple. I can spend days hiding from Anbu. Iruka, an ex. Anbu, who is currently a Chunin instructor at the academy, was the only person who ever found me. Naruto acknowledged, once I lose them, I'm usually gone for a few days to let it cool down, in case you didn't know. As a mere academy student, I have successfully taken this village's pride and crushed it in my hands. Whoever undervalues me, let's just say that if they are not dead, they will either wish they were or commit suicide if I use all of my tactics against them. The title Demon King of Pranks is one that you truly deserve. There, no one can compare to you. And for that reason, in contrast to my other titles aside from most unpredictable ninja, I truly enjoy that one. In fact, I earned those too. Unlike the rest of them, I was not branded with them. When I let loose, anyone who underestimates me instantly regrets it. Even my Junin sensei, an elite Anbu who was once an Anbu captain. And I continued to surprise him in spars despite all this time and his training. He's grown accustomed to it by now. According to the genin, that's scary. Yes, but this is coming from someone who could pull multiple practical jokes on the Hyuga clan without ever getting caught. At this point, I could easily remove everything noteworthy from this village if I so desired, and nobody could stop me. I'm glad I don't wish to. That would imply that I consented to everything they had done to me in the past. That's not my personality. If I had said, screw it, and taken out everyone a year ago, nobody could have stopped me until after I had already done it. However, I didn't. I'm not like that. You are not normal. You believe I was unaware of that? No normal genin, much less an academy student, could outrun 3 entire squads of Anbu plus at least 10 Junin and still not get caught, Naruto inquired. At 4, normalcy vanished for me. I seem to recall reading about a demigod somewhere. This is what it stated. Giving a 7-year-old girl a knife is generally not a good idea, but when you're a demigod, the rules kind of fall apart. No, I do not own this. I quote Rick Riordan from his book Percy Jackson and the Olympians. The Last Olympian. Percy says this in a vision of Annabeth's past when she is discovered by Luke and Talia. If I know anything about myself, it's that I've experienced a lot of things that make me scarcely normal. For me, the impossible is a daily occurrence. I am, if anything, the embodiment of impossible in real life. There are very few people who can honestly say that is the truth. I shouldn't even be sane after my life. But compared to most war veterans, I am more sane. What does that indicate? Gosh. How do you do it, then? Pull off the impossible, you know? Unfortunately, you'll have to figure that out for yourself. Even I don't know, so I can't even tell you that. Just be aware that I've always been referred to as weak and foolish. I would never amount to anything, they said. That would have been the case once. I was weak when I was 2. I was a fool when I was 9 years old. However, they failed to recognize the potential. Even I have failed to live up to my own expectations on multiple occasions. Continue to push yourself after you believe you have reached your full potential. Naruto stood up and glanced off into the distance, saying, "It appears that your teammates have been taken prisoner. You might be mistaken. Let's start working with them." How are you aware? She is bound by chakra ropes because there are 4 ANBUs encircling one, another Anbu with another, and it appears that the ANBU's chakra is faintly surrounding her. Let's get you to your teammates, then. But don't tell anyone about that little fact. Even though I can't really expect you to comprehend the whole situation, at least I know that you acknowledge my skill if you don't respect it. I no longer merely admire your talent. You made it seem simple, even though your skill in this area is practically unattainable. If anyone has any respect for you, it's your ability to pull practical jokes. I like the title Demon King of Pranks because of this. In this village, I can do nearly anything and nobody will notice. Let's go. They left, taking a surprising detour. Why are we heading in this direction? I know this village better than almost anyone, Naruto said, before jumping on top of a roof with the genin in tow. 3 seconds later, the Anbu and 2 genin appeared directly in front of him. To intercept your teammates. Before the Anbu left with the genin, Naruto said, "Get going with your team." 1 Anbu remained behind. How precisely did you handle him? It's not too bad. Just satisfied his curiosity about how I accomplished something that no other genin seems to be able to. I am able to reduce it to a single word. Experience. You ought to leave. Being late bothers the Hokage, who hardly puts up with Kakashi's tardiness. He doesn't require one more. Flashback termination. Naruto concluded, and that's that. You can't blame me for doing something that shouldn't be logically possible for anyone to do. Anyone who gives it a shot will fail at the idea that only 4 people are aware that my primary specialty is not pranking. This caught them all off guard. What's that, too? In the end, Anko inquired. I specialize in the impossible. The batshit insane comes in second. Anyone who looks underneath and then goes even further than that can see that, Naruto said, adding that pranking came in third. Unfortunately, Kakashi Hatake hasn't realized this yet, despite being able to see underneath and still look further. After realizing that I was better than he was at instructing the team, he allowed me to do so and even adopted some of my training methods. I lead the team more effectively than he does, if I didn't know any different. Damn, if he didn't go through a war, I'd say he was completely incompetent, Anko continued. Yes, but he also occasionally employs the Sharingan in our spars. It just makes him harder to beat, Naruto proudly acknowledged, something I get past constantly. Sasuke and Hinata are unable to overcome it alone, but we always remove him when we consult my ninja handbook, which they both read and committed to memory. There are plans in my ninja handbook that a typical ninja would never even consider. At best, after reading the first 30 pages, I would start to doubt my sanity. To satisfy Kakashi's curiosity, I even allowed him to experience it once. He obviously understood the underlying goal. Which was it? Ayame inquired. A sequence of actions that, in a normal situation, wouldn't make sense until you were dead, unconscious, or bound and on the ground. I wasn't even present when one of them took down Zabuza Momochi, an A-rank rogue that my team had come across. Gosh, child. Is it possible to say score? Enko was pleased with his achievement. She became deflated when Naruto said, yeah, but I'm not giving you a copy, though. You're too used to the usual handbook, or your usual style of planning. We don't always use those plans, and they are only appropriate in specific circumstances. My team does not train in the conventional manner. You probably wouldn't call us Konoha Shinobi because of the extreme unconventionality of our training. Despite this, we are meant to be Konohagakure's signature squad. In the end, Sandame's Team 7 became the Sanin. Team 7, which Jiraiya possessed, included the Yondaime Hokage. Team 7 was owned by the Yondaime himself. That team included Kakashi himself. I am the most unpredictable person you will ever meet, whether they are ninjas or not. Then there is the Hyuga heiress, whom I not only helped come out of her shell but also transformed from a helpless girl with no self-esteem into a self assured kunoichi, something no one would ever think was possible, and the last Uchiha, whom I prevented from ever going rogue. Then Naruto stopped, thinking, when did we veer so far off course? After blinking, Enko, Ayame, and Chuki shrugged and said, all right, so what were we discussing? Enko asked, earning shrugs from Chuki and Ayame, but aside from Naruto, earning their attention. You know what it was. Ayame, who was shocked at forgetting her own idea, gasped when Naruto explained, combining Onimaru's Dango stand with Ichiraku's ramen stand, and our involvement, Enko. And I know why you'd gasp at that, Ayame. After all, it was your idea. I'm all for it, too. If you're in, then so am I, Enko smiled and blinked. According to Tucci, thanks. Don't mention it, old man, replied Naruto. We can do this tomorrow, as the Chunin exams don't start until next week, and it's already getting late. Before you go, Naruto, how do you manage to pay without anyone, even me, realizing it? Tucci asked, turning to Naruto after they had all turned to face the window and realized he was correct. Naruto retorted, that is a trade secret, Tucci. It's something the Kitsune take pride in. Naruto then grinned and puffed out, indicating a shadow clone. I'll let boss know you asked, though. Only Hinata and I know about it. Before Enko spoke, the three of them blinked. How long did he have a shadow clone here? The other two responded with a shrug. Sasuke was strolling through the academy with Naruto and Hinata. Sasuke displayed his haughty demeanor once more. Hinata was simply acting a bit more self-assured than usual, and Naruto appeared annoyed that Sasuke was present. In the event that something came up that no one else should hear, they have a permanent mental link for this. They approached a door that read, Room 332, but all three of them knew it was a genjutsu. Naruto was the first to speak over the link. Sasuke, time for your stupidly arrogant side to make an appearance. Tell them that even a deadlast, such as myself, can tell the difference. Naru, you know I don't like it when people insult you. Actually, Hinata, he has a point. The old me would make constant barbs at him for lack of ineptitude. And then he'd get defensive about it and yell at me. Sasuke stated to her. He's right. This is just playing the part to the maximum, said Naruto. You may not like it, Hina, but it's necessary right now. When we reach the second portion, that's when the masks come off. Fine, I'll hold myself back. You can hit him, but use a fist, and not juke and influenced. Make sure it hits the head, Naruto said. Sasuke questioned, you trying to cause me brain damage? They all fell silent before Sasuke made his appearance. If I was, I would have said add in the jukin. Which I just told her not to use on you. We need you for the exams anyway, and doing that now would counteract what we need. Get out of my way. And drop the genjutsu while you're at it. Even the dead last of my class can tell that it's only a genjutsu. Hey! Naruto shouted. God, I feel like an idiot. Hinata then bonked Sasuke on the head. Insult him like that again, and I might jukin your nuts off, she told him. And now we have more weaklings to fight. I thought that's something you wouldn't want, as you detest fighting weaklings. After giving her a fierce look, Sasuke heard a sound. Naruto intentionally lost his balance, but it appeared to be an accident, as he said, "Sasuke, I'm about to hit you. Dodge to the right." He gulped and stopped talking after noticing Hinata's expression and recalling her earlier threat. "See what I mean? You're still a dead." When the others saw this, they couldn't believe it. Only one person was able to see past the Fa section aide, and he gave Hinata a fierce glare. "That's your thing, then? You won't make me look foolish ever again." That blonde, too. Despite being the dead last in his class, he elevated her to a level that no one could ever surpass. They both made it to the top, but fate has a way of putting them at the bottom. He paused and came to a realization. What if everything was concealed in advance, and then? No, that can't be possible. A girl said, "Neji, you okay?" to him. His answer was, "HN." He glanced at a genin wearing green spandex as Team 7 started to leave. "Let's go, Lee." As Team 7 left, Lee glanced at them. He intentionally lost his balance. "If I weren't a taijutsu specialist, I would have thought he was just some dead last like myself." Of course, that was all an act. Lee got up and followed them to the room. Room 332. Naruto, Hinata, and Sasuke entered the room after listening to Kakashi's protocol speech. They went in, knowing that Kakashi was putting on an act to appease the other Junin and the Hokage. They located Kiba right away. As his impetuous self approached them, Kiba actually discovered them and made it known. Sakura approached them as well, behaving somewhat like a fangirl for Sasuke. She phased through him in surprise, and he just grinned. "And that's why I love the Izanagi. Don't overuse it though. The fact that you did that now is not a good thing," Naruto warned him. I know, but you should see the look on Shikamaru's face," Sasuke pointed out, causing Naruto to turn to Shikamaru. "Troublesome. Looks like he got some kind of new jutsu to do that," Shikamaru stated. "Shut up," Ino shouted. "Sasuke-kun, I'm glad you could make it." "HN. Whatever." A man approached them and said, "You guys should quiet down, you know?" Naruto responded in a way that his former self would have. "Oh yeah? And what do you know?" "Oh, I know a lot. This isn't the first time I've taken the exams, you know?" he responded. "Kabuto Yakushi." Naruto told his teammates, who nodded in their heads, "Shit. Spy for Orochimaru, as pointed out by the Kitsune and Phoenix clans. Play along as if we don't know." After displaying his ninfo cards, Kabuto introduced participants, which Sasuke promptly exploited. Sabaku no Gaara from Sanagakure, and Rock Lee from Konohagakure. The information was provided by Kabuto, as usual. Then, in contrast to his usual demeanor, Shikamaru became somewhat brazen. He inquired, "How about Naruto Uzumaki?" After giving him a quick glance and nodding, Kabuto pulled out another card. Hinata inquired, "Do you think he found out about us?" Sasuke answered, "No, but he obviously suspects something." Kabuto then revealed the information. It appears that he's done several classified missions, but other than that, nothing out of the ordinary. His taijutsu is downright horrible. His genjutsu is non-existent, but shows some aptitude for ninjutsu, especially with shadow clone jutsu. He looked at Naruto. "You do realize that's actually a kinjutsu, right?" Naruto yelled at him, "Just because it's labeled forbidden, doesn't mean illegal, right?" Kabuto shrugged and blinked. "I suppose not. His team is Hinata Hyuga and Sasuke Uchiha. Aside from his reserves, which are insane at best, and non-classified mission count, I have nothing else on him." He glanced at Naruto. "Someone seems to be going to great length to hide potential abilities such as yours." A group of sound genin interrupted Naruto's glare at him, so Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata wrapped a reverse sound barrier around their heads to eliminate any negative effects. After complaining, Naruto became uneasy because Shikamaru was, for some reason, staring at him. They were stopped by an explosion that revealed a number of Chunin and a Junin that Naruto recognized right away. "Alright, you motherfuckers. I am Ibiki Morino, your proctor for this exam. No more fighting or instant disqualification. Now turn in your registrations and get your seat number. I want this done in 5 minutes. Anyone not done fails immediately." By the time everyone was seated, 5 teams had failed. After Ibiki gave an explanation of the rules, Sakura asked one question but quickly stopped talking after hearing his response. Everyone completed the test once it began. Although Naruto provided a few answers, Sasuke and Hinata both determined that they were correct after solving the problem on their own. Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata were verifying the answers with one another. After completing the first 9 questions, they all sighed. Ino used her family's jutsu, which Sakura quickly beat her out of, after Naruto sensed a chakra pulse from her. Ibiki indicated a pencil down after 45 minutes had elapsed. He gave rules that would make it useless, but Naruto saw right through them. Okay, time for the 10th question. There are extra rules for this one. Across the link, Naruto asked, trying to make us give up, is he? What do you mean? Ibiki Morino is the head of torture and interrogation. His specialty happens to be psychological torture, meaning he works on the mind. Naruto clarified. Assuming that was the answer, Hinata said, so, don't give in to his rules? He's mainly trying to decrease those that pass. I'm going to let it drop first, then do something that even you would expect from me now, and everyone else would as well. Naruto stated as they both nodded. It was just in time, as he had completed his explanation. Several of them were hit by ki bursts that he directed at some of the others. The numbers were down to just below 80, and figured this was enough to piss off Anko. His hand was trembling a little as he slowly raised it. Sakura was about to yell at him when she noticed this, but he slammed it against the front desk. Naruto shouted, his voice amplified at the end, never underestimate me, I don't quit, and I won't run. Even if I am stuck as a genin for life, I'm still going to be Hokage someday. So just give up on making me give up. When he was done, the others were shook out of their terror. Are you sure? You can quit now, and save your team the effort or your failure. Crossing his arms, Naruto asked, did you not just hear me? I just fucking said to give up on making me give up. What part of that don't you understand? He took a deep breath. Just give us the goddamn 10th question. He was an inspiration to anyone who was still unsure. Though they went unnoticed, Hinata and Sasuke both grinned when he said over the link, and that's how you rally the masses. Sasuke informed him, and that's why you're the leader of our squad. Kakashi's outmatched by you there. The Junin lounge Asuma, Kurenai, and Kakashi were seated in a booth in the corner. Kurenai said, you know, it's a little quiet without the genin around. Yeah, well, they'll be coming back pretty soon, especially with the first proctor, Asuma replied. Kakashi pretended to be interested and said, oh, and who is it? Ibiki Morino. Ibiki, huh? Asked Kakashi. I'm not worried about my team's chances. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out of it pissed off. Oh? Inquired Asuma. And why not? Kurenai questioned. Wait, why is that a problem? Oh, you're new to the Junin levels, aren't you, Kurenai? Well, I'll enlighten you. Kakashi said. Ibiki Morino is the head of the TI division. The only one to ever scare him is on my team. I wouldn't think Sasuke was that good, Asuma commented. And Naruto is supposedly a dead last, but some are questioning the capability of our academy recently. And he's why. Kakashi stated, would you believe me if I said Naruto leads my team better than I do? That would be impossible. Asuma stated, I wouldn't put it past him, to be honest. Kurenai added, causing Asuma to nearly whiplash. I've been hearing a few things among the genin. Recently, Ino's been finding out a lot of things that put Naruto's true abilities into question, and most of them are unreal. Kakashi questioned, which part? The rumors, or the abilities? The response she gave was, both, and it confuses me to no end. Well, Naruto does in fact come up with things that interest me, and help Sasuke, Hinata and myself take out Zabuza Momochi. He wasn't even present for it, either. Said Kakashi. He's got some kind of quality about him. The natural feel of a leader. And his teammates follow him easily, knowing he's got something to beat out anything. Hey, he's got nothing on Shikamaru when it comes to strategy, Asuma stated. I swear, that kid is more of a strategist than most Nara. Well, that's up for debate. Kakashi retorted lazily. I mean, Naruto's the only one that has ever gotten in and out of the Hyuga estate, while pranking them, and didn't get caught. But his biggest one, or so he says, happens to have made a diversion so the Hokage can get information for an execution that has been warranted for a while. Said execution was carried out a few weeks back. If he turned his pranking experience into a strategic mind, he would probably beat Shikamaru out easily. And he hasn't yet, has he? Kakashi casually answered, no, he has. He just doesn't show it. Most of the unusual D ranks these days came at his idea from 2 council members and himself. Kurenai questioned, the pranking ones? Wouldn't put it past him. They are eerily similar to search and destroy missions during war. Get in, set a trap, get out, activate it. Kakashi stated. Then they have to outrun the ones that pursue them, or evade them long enough for the time limit. My team is not allowed to take these missions, as that is just easy pickings for it. They'd do so, and they'd get out of range for any suspicion and then activate it. With Naruto, anything is possible. His potential, nearly limitless, if not limitless. Asuma sighed. I highly doubt that. I've seen some of his exploits, Asuma. He took on a demon single-handedly, and won. Said Kurenai. I thought an exorcist was needed, but all we needed was him. Turns out demonic chicken tastes better fried than grilled. Kakashi gave nod. I can attest to that. He was the dead last, but with his potential, I'd easily place him as further along than Sasuke when the team was formed. I'm one of those that question the ability of the academy. A Junin, who was panting, suddenly materialized in front of them. Kakashi. Iruka. Anko. Kiss. Asuma and Kurenai looked puzzled, but Kakashi's visible eye widened. You mean to tell me, Iruka and Anko kissed? The Junin nodded. And why are you telling me this? Naruto is involved. He said. Iruka threw a kunai without looking, and did this. He pointed to a cut on his cheek. What do you know? He actually did it. Kakashi stated, earning surprise from the others in the area. Once I found out that Naruto was close to Anko, I told him she really needs to find a boyfriend. He said he could get her one easily, but I doubted him. Oh shit. Now I owe him 1000 Ryu. Kakashi was frustrated, much to Asuma's surprise. Who knew? Kurenai asked. Examination room. Iruka was just outside, and Anko had just come in. Alright maggots, listen up. Anko, you're early, Ibiki stated, extremely pissed. What got your panties in a jumble? She retorted, before looking into the crowd, spotting to a smirking Naruto. What's so funny, Gaki? Oh nothing. Hey, why don't you ask him what made him so pissed? Naruto replied. Anko then looked at Ibiki, and noticed he was pissed. Let me guess, you did this? Anko thumbed at Ibiki, earning a nod. Well, shit. Looks like you win again, Gaki. Leaning back, Naruto answered, I always do. He then departed in a flame teleport, saying, and if you have anyone to blame for the numbers, it's me. Team 7 is out. After Sasuke followed suit, Hinata sighed and took a cue from Shikamaru. She glanced at Shikamaru, who had an eyebrow up, and said, troublesome. I take it the next portion is the Forest of Death? Anko gave a nod. Okay, now I'm out. She hurried off. She turned to him and grinned savagely, saying, those three are just plain fun, and by the way, Ibiki. I told ya, didn't I? You owe me 2,500 Ryu now. Fuck you, was his response. I'm sure you'd like to, but I'm happily taken. Anko winked. Training ground 44. Tomorrow. 1,000 hours. Be there, and don't be late. She left in a shunshin. Ibiki blinked, but then left in a shunshin. The Junin lounge Ibiki entered immediately, and looked at Kakashi. He looked back, and noticed he was pissed the fuck off. Kakashi. Whatever my students did was their own idea. Quite frankly, they're better off on their own ideas than mine. He replied. And I have a feeling that it was Naruto that pissed you off, right? Ibiki growled, but nodded. Kakashi looked at Kurenai and Asuma. Pay up. Kurenai and Asuma pulled out 600 and 1,000 Ryu respectively and handed it to him. You really enjoyed that, didn't you? Asuma asked. Hey, I can't deny that Naruto does the impossible nearly every day. I just make the best of it. Kakashi replied, before turning to Ibiki. Alright, now I want details on what he did. Ibiki sat down, and explained it. When he was done, Kakashi whistled. That's a downgrade from the usual. A downgrade? Asuma asked, thoroughly surprised. That kind of manipulation is easily cage level. Yes, I know. And I'm not changing my words. Kakashi retorted. I mean, he's even conned the Kyuubi not once, but twice. I think cage level manipulation is, in fact, a downgrade from that. I heard that via telepathy from the Kyuubi himself, not Naruto. How can you trust it? Ibiki growled. Would you believe it if he gave an exercise for chakra control that I had trouble with at first? Kakashi asked. It was originally for Naruto, since his control was so fucked up, but now that he went through it, as did the rest of the team, they can basically pull a rank jutsu with C-rank difficulty. Naruto pulls his wind element jutsu without hand signs, even a rank wind jutsu, and within seconds. I'll be honest, I took a back seat when it came to training and the like. He's got me beat. Why do you think I like the damn Gaki? Anko asked, signaling she was there. I thought you'd be with Iruka, Kakashi stated. He's got kids to deal with, she replied as she sat down. How did you know anyway? A Junin with a scratch on his cheek was indicated by Asuma. He said it, not us. Hey, that's fine. It was him that threw it, anyway. Anko waved it off. Kakashi, if you see Naruto before the next exam, tell him I said thanks, and he was right. Oh, yeah. She pulled out a scroll. Kakashi accepted it, nodded, and walked away. And give him this, if you can. Scar knows and I got it for him. Naruto house. Every man has moments in life when he wishes he had learned how to cook. This was not a concern for Naruto because he could cook anything food desired and still be able to digest it. The same cannot be said for Hinata. She was able to adjust to the morning sickness. And to be honest, I'm not sure if it's meant to be there during the first week, but she is still unable to adjust to the crazy food. Naruto even made separate dishes after a while, which Naruto and Hinata ate regular food, and she ate what she wanted. It was a compromise that was made, and all three were happy. Sweetie, do you really have to go in that forest? Fu asked. I kind of do. Naruto replied, before shaking his head. If I don't I can't be promoted, and since I already made preparations a week ago, I guess you can say I'm good, as is my team. I also noticed that Neji still holds a grudge against you, Hinata. Hinata then explained the tale of the Kumo ninja who abducted her and the death of Neji's father, Hizashi Hyuga, after saying, well, let me tell you what I think the cause is. If I had to say anything, that and the fact he was branded are the two main reasons. Naruto nodded and let out a sigh. Looks like I'll have even more fun with this, because now, I've got another reason to get rid of that stick up his ass. Seriously, if he coughs I'd blame it on his fade stick. He still can't believe I did more than most would ever think is possible. When you're around often enough, people get used to crazy, bad, shit insane, or impossible events happening. Said Hinata. And I actually like it, because it keeps me on my toes, and well, there's never really a dull moment around you. Tell me about it. Fu added. I mean, sure you're different, but that doesn't really mean much to most. When Naruto saw that Kakashi had come into the room, he nodded. Hinata and Fu looked at Kakashi and asked, why's Kakashi here? I'll see what it is, Hinata said, getting up and walking out. She met him in the cave as he entered. What's up, sensei? Naruto here? He asked, earning a nod. Message from Anko. He pulled out a scroll. He also took out a bag and gave them to her, saying, and give him this. That one is from me, and if he asks why, tell him I found out about Iruka. She arched an eyebrow. Anything I should know? I think you should ask him that question. Kakashi replied. If he says you do or don't need to, I'm not going to complain either way. But in the end, it's his call. He left in a puff of smoke. Naruto, what happened concerning Iruka and Kakashi? Did he hand you a bag filled with a bit of money? Something I should know about? Hinata asked him. I got Iruka Sensei and Anko to go out on a date. He said I couldn't get Anko to date someone. Apparently, I did and he just found out. With a mental sigh, Hinata returned inside and threw the bag and scroll to him. You'd be surprised how much of my money is from gambling. I'm aware. Hinata stated. What about the message from Anko? Naruto had just started reading it, and his eyes widened. What is it? Well, shit. He said. A few kitsune have gone in there, and she's the only one that knows. Apparently, they're waiting for me to get there, so they can help out if necessary. Shouldn't they be a bit more careful? Fu inquired. I mean, that isn't really a good thing to go through, you know? The village hates kitsune. True as that is, this is bound to help out quite a bit. Naruto admitted. I'll be surprised if they take out a team from Konohagakure. However, if we get placed in the northeast sector, we could use all the wildlife to our advantage. They already have a list of who not to attack. Other than that, anyone is free game for them. They know to avoid our class entirely, they're going to avoid Neji's team, and they're going to avoid Gaara's team. Kabuto's team, if they see him, they kill him. That's a no questions asked point. At that, they both nodded. Naruto nodded when Hinata said, we'll need to come up with a password of some sort. One that only our team would know. Sasuke's got his Sharingan, but only we know of its eternal Mangekyo form. Not even Kakashi is completely aware of it. He stated to her. They start talking amongst minds after she nods. I think this should continue in the mental chat room. Naruto said, Sasuke, can you hear me? Yeah, what's up? Another annoying contestant? No, we're planning for the next exam. It's in the Forest of Death, and we have an advantage, but we need a way to know a real from a fake, Hinata stated. Hey, I think I can help with that, Kyuubi stated. Fu inquired, what you got in mind? Sasuke said, Fu's in here too? Got a problem with that? No, just wondering. What's the idea? Ask a random question that only they would know. For example, who is your team leader? From what I've seen, you say it's Naruto. In reality there is no true leader. Kyuubi stated. That would really confuse people. Naruto's supposed to be the dead last, but he's a much better leader than both of us, said Hinata. When you think about it, it makes sense. You two and Sakura are the only ones that I've opened up to, minus Haku, but she won't be in the forest. My greatest fear is one thing for me. My first original jutsu, which I have yet to showcase, by the way. That's another good one. As for me, asking about my childhood, I'd only say this. Hell would be an understatement. Of course, some of this isn't exactly uncommon knowledge. How about our best role, or our worst role, and we only answer with one? Specialties? Sasuke asked. The impossible. Kitsune illusions. Everyone was a little taken aback by Sasuke's response, swordplay. What? You use other swords? Naruto asked. I've been training with a few types, but yeah, I'm pretty good. Mom says it's my best skill in combat. I still need development in the relationship department. Naruto said, you and me both, man. Hinata questioned, what's that supposed to mean? But only Naruto and Fu saw the smile and shuddered at once. I've got a ways to go to be good. I mean, before I let you in my house, I had never known love, or had any true friends, but still. Don't worry, I understand. Still, avoid using the tag out. Tag out? Inquired Fu. It's a Jinchuriki specific move that we kind of came up with. However, there is a theory that I don't really want to test out at this juncture, but would be highly valuable to know if it's possible. I'm listening. Naruto said. If we're performing the tag out, what would happen if the connection between us is disrupted, or cut off? And here's the theory. It may be impossible to reverse it until the connection is re-established somehow. Orochimaru has been reported to know how to perform the five-pronged seal. You're choosing now to tell us this? Naruto asked, incredulously. The thought just occurred to me right before I said it. Anyway, I thought you should know, so if you perform the tag out against Orochimaru, be prepared for the five-pronged seal. I can't use the damn thing, meaning I can't release it. Naruto said, that's gonna be a problem. What about your armor? Wouldn't you be able to use it to stop the seal before it's placed? Sasuke inquired. Well, the seal I use allows it to come out while I'm surrounding myself with flames. Naruto replied. Wait, I get what you're saying. If he's got me in a grip, and about to place it, I release the armor, thus making him let go of me. And you'd be safe from it. Sasuke stated, cool. We show the core of the armor for another, Hinata suggested. Naruto said, remember, Sasuke, cloak is needed tomorrow. I know. We can't let the armor be let out. Among everyone else, Sakura is the only one I know is aware of the armor, and I know for a fact she didn't tell anyone. Hinata said, Ino might know. She's the gossip queen, after all. However, there are only rumors about them if anything. There's only one rumor regarding Sasuke. The majority of them are about me. Naruto admitted. I've garnered a little too much attention to myself, and kept too many abilities secret. Several people have gotten suspicious. Even a few counselors have. Without Danzo, though, things are going to be pretty damn good. So, the test? Just ask a random question about the person, and listen to their answer closely. Kyuubi stated. That should be enough. Some don't complete the illusion and have to alter their voice for it. Keep in mind mannerisms, speech patterns, and even the way things are worded. If it even remotely seems like they are forcing their speech, then it's not them. Agreed. Got it. Did I ever mention that I love you, Kyuubi? Sasuke stated. What am I? Chopped liver? Fu asked. Sasuke said, come again. Sorry, Sasuke. But I'm male, and though I'm somewhat bisexual, I still prefer females. Nanabi inquired. Where did that come from? I have no idea. Kyuubi admitted. Still, I'm liking this team. Alright. If that's all, I have to get some shut-eye. Mom's making sure I have everything I need. My sword is sealed on my body, so I can use it. Right. We should too. Fu replied. That means you too as well. Groaning can be heard from Naruto and Hinata. Do you want me to get out the frying pan? Naruto shot up and ran to his bed. I got to remember that one. Hinata said out loud. It always works on him. If not, get a squirrel. Either one works. Fu admitted. Good to know. The following day Anko had just finished explaining the test, and Team 7 went to their gate. The test begins. Now, Team 7 entered the forest with gusto, Sasuke and Hinata following behind Naruto and to each side. Then something came to him. Sasuke and Hinata nodded and changed into one of their summons, saying, "Beast out." Sasuke transformed into a black dragon the size of Spyro, Hinata into a kitsune, and Naruto into a tiny phoenix. Naruto remained in the air above the trees, keeping the other two in view, while Sasuke and Hinata went to the ground. When Naruto exclaimed, "Guys, incoming rain, 2 o'clock," they fired a few bursts of fire in their direction, eliciting a few screams. Before discovering the scroll, Naruto entered and removed them with ease. "Sweet. It's the scroll we need. Head to the tower." "Same thing as before," Sasuke stated. "Right." Naruto noticed a lone grass ninja as they proceeded. "Grass, 830. This one. Shit, Orochimaru." After that, Naruto led them as a kitsune and got right with them. "One tail, Hinata. We need to make it seem like we're just animals in the forest. There's a foxhole nearby. We go in there." They followed him on the ground and went into a hole. Outside the hole, the grass ninja touched down. "Or is it because they recognize me? Kukuku. Seems like those little animals know a threat when they sense one." "No, they're not that intelligent. Additionally, I thought I smelled Uchiha in this area. It's possible that those animals stopped them or obscured their sense, because I stopped smelling him a while ago. He's gone, anyway, and I'll have to use chakra to sense him. Oh well. Catching the best prey is always the most difficult." The grass ninja jumped off. A nearby wolf saw this, and tailed her. The head of one of the kitsune poked out. "Is he gone?" Another wolf nearby said, "Yes, Naruto." The man went west. It appears as though he was after the Uchiha. "Are you ready to pass?" "Yeah. We are." "Take a 6-point shuriken to a door on the door, and jab it into the ground right outside," the kitsune responded. "Understood." Naruto remained in the foxhole while the wolf left. Inside the foxhole, Sasuke, Hinata, and Naruto were all in their regular states. The foxhole was masking their scent. Sasuke said, "Dude, you're a lifesaver." "I told you, didn't I? I know this forest far better than most," replied Naruto. Naruto created a bright green fireball in his hand and said, "We already got a set, and now that we know who Orochimaru is posing as, we can let the others know. Anko, you there? Gaki? What is going on? We found Orochimaru. We lost him by going into a foxhole, but he's posing as a grass kunoichi." "I was right. He's after Sasuke," Naruto said. "Does he have a mark?" Hinata remarked. "We avoided battle entirely. Sasuke isn't marked, and we're not letting him get the chance. I already asked a wolf to bring one of the 6-point shuriken to the front door of the tower." Naruto acknowledged. "We'll be there as soon as we've got a point to get to." "I'll see you there." "All right. Tell us what's happening." "All right. We're already ready, as we took out a rain team, thereby allowing us to head into the tower already." "That's good to know. Phoenix out. Snake out." The flame disappeared. "All right, for now, we rest up," Naruto stated. He snapped his head toward the entrance, where a two-tailed kitsune emerged, saying, "We can't let Orochimaru find us but—" "Kituno?" inquired Hinata. "What are you doing here?" "Thought you could use some help. There are currently 24 kitsune ranging from 2 to 5 tails in the forest. Now that I found you, we're going to escort you to the tower, if you're ready." "Sorry, Kituno," Naruto stated. "Let the others know they're on straggler duty. We don't need an escort, as we're using the shuriken travel, thanks to a wolf I sent to the tower. We'll be there in an instant. All we need you guys to do is work with the natural wildlife to eliminate teams. They're already in the know as to who to avoid, and who not to avoid. A wolf has been tailing Orochimaru. Don't attack him, or if they are avoiding someone, follow their lead." "I understand. Still," Naruto said, no pranks. Unless it's on Neji Hyuga. Then get him with a small prank. He needs to loosen up." Kituno said, "Ooh. Goody," and then leapt out. Naruto turned to face the others once more. Naruto tensed and said, "Okay. Let's prepare to move out." He nodded and took hold of a shoulder, saying, "It's in place." Sasuke grab on. After that, Naruto departed in a flash of orange. With a sigh, Hinata departed in a flash of purple. Tower with both scrolls in hand, Team 7 was now inside the tower. They easily deciphered the message after seeing it. Kakashi emerged as they unrolled the scrolls. "I must say, I'm impressed you made it so quickly. Then again, with what you did to Ibiki, I really shouldn't be," he replied. Hinata questioned, "Did you really doubt we'd make it?" In response, Kakashi said, Hell no, I know for a fact you would. I just didn't think it'd be this quick. They gave a shrug. They all nodded when someone asked, I assume you already figured out the meaning behind the quote? That's the Chunin motto. Remember it for the next part. You're likely to need it. Once more, they all nodded. Anyway, congratulations. Just then Team 8 entered right behind them. Hey Kiba. What's up? Naruto asked, happy mask back in place. Kiba yelled, how'd you get here before us? Naruto shrugged and said, burned a team, got the scroll, raced here. The usual. That's the usual? Inquired Shino. Sakura cut in, remember, this is Naruto we're talking about. Things are never normal around him. Hinata acknowledged, if there's one thing we can agree on, it's that. I'm glad to see you kept your act in place. I know. We should probably drop it now, though. Can't help that, am I right? Replied Sakura. Everyone in the vicinity gave a nod. Shino then threw both scrolls, causing Kiba and Sakura to look at him. What did you do that for? Sakura asked. Shino simply pointed at the scrolls Kakashi was on. Kurenai came up and said, oh. Kakashi? Your kids made it too? Kurenai blanched at that. I told you, didn't I? Oh, and I didn't even have to explain the motto. Kurenai gave him 500 Ryu and said, pay up. Using your students for bets. Yes. And I've got another bet going with Guy. He bet me 3,000 Ryu that his team would beat you guys. Kakashi replied. I just saw him. He was in training ground 9. He was shadow boxing, so I can assume he hasn't been summoned yet. Naruto let out a sigh. Guy hasn't entered the forest. Either by summon, or on foot. Although. Kurenai, I was right, he did appear. She stood frozen in place. He didn't get any of us, though. One of the reasons we hightailed it over here once we got to a safe location. How did you do it? Naruto used 6 points to draw a shuriken. Kiba's gaze widened. I've seen 2 of them in the forest. They're yours? What you found are markers. Naruto explained. They allow me and Hinata to get around the forest pretty damn fast. Sasuke doesn't know how to transport to them yet, to be honest. Yeah, I can't get it down. Could be a wind affinity thing, but I'm not sure, Sasuke acknowledged. Everyone understood or didn't care, so they either nodded or shrugged. Anyway, you've got a while to go. Rest up. For the time being, you could use it. Kurenai stated. Kakashi, I'll let the Hokage know of what happened. No need. Said Naruto. I already let Anko know, and she should have told the Hokage about it first, and then gone in with Anbu. What? Yelled Kurenai. Naruto extended his hand and said, hang on for second. Sasuke and Hinata recognized the green flame he used to communicate with Anko the last time as the sacred flame telepath. Anko, can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you Gaki. The damn bastard escaped. He even attempted to use the curse. Kakashi went pale. Naruto, can she hear everyone in the area? Does Kakashi accompany you? My team, Team 8, Kakashi, Sensei, and Kurenai. Sensei are all in the tower already. Naruto said, and yes, we're all present. Oh no, can I hear them, or is it more like an area of effect? Or is it something else? Not sure, haven't tried focusing that much on this one, to be honest, Naruto admitted. I'll tell you right here and now, Kakashi, if you can hear me. He had no control over it and was taken aback when I used it myself. For that, you can thank a blonde Gaki. Kurenai just stared, but everyone else gazed at Naruto in amazement. What about side effects? You know the original one had them. I had no feelings. Previously, it would only respond to feelings of retaliation and hatred. It didn't this time. Then he might pursue you, and I think of you. That's when it started to spread. That's when I started kicking his ass. Eventually, he had to back off. I was going to chase after him, but I passed out first. Damn it, yelled Naruto. What made you collapse? I think it was using it for so long. It was a good 25 minutes. When I told the Hokage about this, he said he would be heading to the tower. In 3 minutes, I should be there. I understand. You'll have to get used to the excess chakra from it. It's either that, or it's regular foreign chakra, and the standard rules apply. Your chakra will fight it off, but only if you use it. Naruto replied, in full business mode. Except for Kurenai and Kakashi, everyone had retreated. The thing can be the difference between life and death, and not just yours. If you lose yourself to it, Kakashi said. Stop, Kakashi. Right now, I'm only experiencing the effects of mild chakra exhaustion. There are too many potential explanations to list them all. Naruto said, we need to talk about this as soon as you can. How many others are with you? It's a Sanagakure team. Tamari, the cat guy, and Gaara. Kankuro is here, a very masculine voice yelled. Alright. Gaara, is your team ready to enter? Indeed, we are. On the way to the tower, we encountered her. Naruto questioned, who did you take out, and to what extent? The Iwa team. I got the scroll. Death. We were ambushed by rain. With it, Tanuki will Tenten. Okay, Iwa, I can understand. I'm not exactly fond of them or their hatred of my father, so I'm not going to complain. Naruto said. Rain, you probably could have been a little more merciful. Or is it because? Naruto began to walk away. Indeed. That's the reason. She despises rain, and you'd be shocked at how much I've learned. Most likely the reason he stayed in the desert. Naruto said, no kidding. Remember what we agreed upon. Do you really believe that I am so unintelligent as to overlook that? I only have Lady Shukaku, after all. Naruto went on for him, and you know what I hold. Good, as long as you remember that, you'll be fine. What on earth are you talking about, Gaki, sis? You remember what I told you before the exams began, but after meeting with the Ichiraku family, replied Naruto. You know we have them here. What are you discussing? Tamari said. Gaara's in the know already. His team? I can't say for sure. Oh, I didn't think you would tell them. I only told Gaara, mainly because of what he is. He has been briefed on the plan, and is ready to act when needed, said Naruto. You don't actually oppose the case cage, do you? Kankuro asked. We need all three of us to pass right now, so you're lucky. If not, I would kill you right there. With malice in his voice, Gaara said. Gaara, what did I say? Let me tell you why I would, before you do that. You take great pride in your ability to focus, Kankuro, but you failed to notice that he has been acting very strangely lately. Tamari, too. Gaara don't even bother to speak. I was aware, but I was afraid of being treasonous, so I didn't question it. However, if he's correct. Since I'm a fake and not defying the case cage, it's not treason, Gaara said. What are you discussing? Kankuro yelled, obviously taken aback. To begin with, how far along is the proof? Gaara inquired. Naruto said, found, sealed, and ready to go. Also, you told me of the faulty seal. I'll be able to fix it up after the second exam. Noted. Okay, Gaki, that clarifies this now. Hold on, I'm at the tower's entrance. A green flame that matched the one in Naruto's hand was directly in front of Anko before the door opened. Both of them vanished. Naruto said, Anko, get yourself to the medical wing. Even if the chakra exhaustion is only mild, if you're not careful, it will only get worse. And what happened to the Anbu that should have been following you as per protocol? They didn't make it in time. I went ahead, but they still didn't make it before these guys found me, replied Anko. Naruto gave a nod. She nodded and left, saying, get going. You'll need to be at your best for the next point. Gaara, you didn't let your team know, and now that they do, they are not allowed to tell anyone. Even your sensei, and definitely not your cage. The Yondaime cage is, in fact, dead. I have gotten a message from someone on the other side. It has been confirmed, and his soul is no longer in the world. Who do you mean? Inquired Gaara. Naruto responded, Suzaku. His team and Gaara nodded, but the rest of the group gave him a perplexed look. Sakura said perilously, who is Suzaku? You're not seriously cheating on her, again are you? No, he's not. Suzaku is like a friend to his father's family. As such, she is friends with him as well. Replied Hinata. I've already met her, to be honest. Sakura gave her a quick glance, nodded, and moved away. Sasuke gave Naruto a look. You think we should tell them? Naruto nodded and said, not yet. Gaara, remember the rules I told you about this. They're to abide by them with the same penalties. Then Kakashi glanced around. Where did Anko go? Naruto questioned, you didn't see her leave earlier? Kurenai said, I don't think any of us did. After he paused, Naruto remarked, she's 5 stories above us. Naruto left in a flame teleport, saying, that saves me the trouble. See ya, sensei. Hey. The old man's here already as well. Hinata let out a sigh. I should go after him, and make sure he doesn't make a fool of himself. Sasuke said, he'll do that whether you're there or not, and if you're worried about him disrespecting the Hokage, then you shouldn't worry too much. The two are closer than they'd admit. Kiba inquired, what do you mean? You never saw him outside of classes, except when he was running from pranks, right? Said Sasuke. Well, There were a few times he was at my place talking with Haku, and the Sandame came in to talk with him, knowing he was there. Especially since he can't get to Naruto's own home. I'm actually glad he left his old apartment. Me too. His house. Oh god, the first time I saw I thought I had died and gone to heaven. This was before I even saw the house. Then he led me to where it was in the area, and I just can't do it justice. I was almost ready to punch myself thinking that I was either dead, so I would feel nothing, or it was just an extremely lucky dream. Then he told me that there was a major difference between the two, and that calling the inside heaven just wouldn't do it justice. I happen to agree. Where is it? Inquired Kiba. I want to pay him a visit. Hinata said, you wouldn't be able to. The location is its own pocket dimension. Without following someone who is allowed entry, you won't be able to locate it, and even if you do, you won't be able to enter unless he grants you permission. Neither Jiraiya of the Sannin nor Kakashi Sensei can. 3 of the 5 surviving individuals are in this tower. Everyone immediately fell silent, and Sasuke followed shortly after as Hinata left in the quiet. Glancing at Kurenai, Kakashi said, I'll be leaving shortly. He departed in smoke, saying, I have some gloating to do. Kurenai turned to face her group. You understand the quote? They all nodded as she thumbed at the scroll on the wall. Even you, Kiba? Hey, I can learn nothing with these two around. After all, I have a social recluse and a walking dictionary on my side. Kiba toned it down when speaking to Shino and yelled, no offense, Shino. No one was taken. It's true after all, Shino said. Kurenai gave a nod, saying, all right. Team Aid left the room to search for Sasuke and Hinata after she said, I'm out. She went out in smoke. With Naruto after completing the explanation, Naruto said, and that's about it. Sarutobi merely rubbed his temples and asked, why do you do more harm than good? Some people genuinely aspire to be like me, Naruto said, adding, don't hate on me, specifically, your grandson. He's too impressionable. Naruto noted, there are a lot of civilians in Wave Country, especially the orphans. Alright, you got that one. Sarutobi was at a loss. Now, as to what's going on, Sarutobi said, it's too vague to be considered a strategy. Even though Kakashi Sensei also enjoys the less specific ones I've thought of, one of which can defeat Zabuza Momochi without suffering any injuries other than minor cuts and fatigue. For if that isn't sufficient evidence, I'm not sure what else is. My textbook is where my team works. Not your typical textbook. Our team's tactics are never exact or unambiguous. And with them in play right now, nothing has failed, Naruto retorted. Oh, how do you know that's what defeated him? Sarutobi said. Easy. There's a reason why my plans aren't exact or clear. Cut. The entire plan is ruined if someone messes up with a pinpoint precision plan. You can easily correct it by tailoring the strategy to us rather than the other way around. If you don't go that far with precision, or even if you just go into a generalized plan, you have more room for error. I've heard that a few of the minor countries have taken notice of us. We're being referred to as Team Outcast. I've heard about Team Outcast, but I doubt it's you. Naruto said, you heard about it from Jiraiya, I'd wager. Jiraiya came in through the window and said, yeah, he heard it from me. And there's no way, you're a member of Team Outcast. Even if you were one of them, they would still be far too strong. And if what you say is accurate, you can't possibly be there given the accuracy with which they interfere in every task. They took notice when Naruto grinned and said, that's where you're wrong. It's because the plan itself isn't so precise that we have less pressure, allowing for more precision in individual abilities, when it comes to messing up. That way, we can use a plan that isn't precise while still being precise. You got any way to prove that? Jiraiya blinked. Naruto opened a book and threw it at Jiraiya, saying, look at that. It's not even a story, let alone porn. This is my strategy guide. We also run our business from it. After reading the first 50 pages, Jiraiya muttered, this is insane. How many pages did it take you to reach that decision? Naruto inquired. 50 pages. Oh. It's usually 20, 5 or 30, Naruto said. You see what I mean? Sarutobi said. Confusion ensued as Jiraiya said, I didn't mean insane in a bad way, sensei. These things are far beyond anything Shikaku has conjured up in a pinch. Looking at Naruto, he said, how the hell did you come up with this kind of shit? They are so insane that they actually work wonders. Pranking experience. Naruto shrugged. I essentially took a number of scenarios and transformed them from lighthearted pranking to combat tactics. For the opponent, how dangerous would you rank it? What is the scale? Jiraiya inquired. 1 to 10, 10 being deadly beyond comprehension. Jiraiya said, I'd give it about a 15. They will die if you want them to. There is no doubt about it, particularly with your group. Really, to be honest, I'd give that an 8, Naruto said. Jiraiya went pale. Oh, I see. Naruto said, check out page 203. Jiraiya went to the page and was astounded. It's crazy as hell in theory, isn't it? And that's why they work, he replied with a nod. Getting the book, Sarutobi said, let me see. You're right, this is crazy as hell. Kakashi isn't on the team of 3, even though it looks that way on paper. For a moment, imagine how it would unfold. Naruto said, and Jiraiya and Sarutobi did just that before going pale. What gives you the ability to think of such tactics, Naruto? Nobody would be able to compare, not even the village's top strategists. Have you forgotten who you are speaking with? This is the Demon King of Pranks. Naruto said, I'm the only one who's entered the Hyuga estate 10 times without getting caught. Or was it 11? I can't remember which. Gosh. Naruto, keep these strategies in a safe location. That's how he did it, Sarutobi said. Few people are able to use them without understanding how to use them. Naruto acknowledged that they would likely dismiss them as junk, but he also said that they are too nebulous to be strategies. Before I go, he said, taking out a scroll and tossing it to Jiraiya. I told you your original part, he said, sealing the book. Those are the best strategies to use, because they can vary each time to better suit a situation. Apart from weapons and clothing, that's all you'll need for it. Nodding, Jiraiya said, got it. Naruto's encounter with Jiraiya and the Hokage occurred a few days ago. An hour or so had passed since the conclusion of the second exam. It was getting better for Anko. Since the day Team 7 arrived at the tower, Teams 9, 10, and the sound team have completed. Teams 7, 8, 9, 10, Gaara's team, and the sound team are currently in a hall that resembles an arena. At the front, gazing at the genin, are Anko, the Junin of each team, the Sandaime Hokage, and even Jiraiya of the Sannin. The shinobi clan heads were also present. Sarutobi was the first to move forward. Congratulations to all that passed the second exam. However, those of you left are too plentiful. For this reason, we will be forced to have a preliminary round. What? Kiba exclaimed, genuinely taken aback. Sarutobi gave him a look. Naruto nodded, but the others were perplexed. There are too many of you left. There are lords, nobles, and even the Mizukage has decided to attend, though for an unknown reason. We need to keep it moving as fast as possible, while keeping it interesting. As such, the numbers must be whittled down. Nothing personal, just business. Everybody gave a nod. A female Junin suddenly materialized in front of them. As the purple-haired Kunoichi turned to face the genin, Sarutobi nodded and said, Lord Hokage, let me, Yuga Uzuki, the proctor for this exam, explain things further. She looked at Anko, who nodded, and then a panel emerged from the wall. Hello everyone, this is Yuga Uzuki, the proctor for the third exam. The preliminary round will be 1 on 1 elimination-based matches. You fight, you win, you continue. Note that the matches will be determined at random. Now, is there anyone that would not like to continue? If you do not wish to continue, then your team will not take the fall with you. Nobody raised their voice. She yelled over her shoulder, no one? Alright then. Roll the names. Just before the names began to scroll on the screen. Uchiha Sasuke vs Yamanaka Ino. Everyone who was aware of Ino's obsession looked twice. Kurenai, Asuma, and Team 7 all had the same idea. Ino is in serious trouble. Sasuke thought of something else. Oh, yes. When Naruto and Hinata realized it was time to vent, they shook their heads. Naruto said bluntly, she's going to get herself killed here. Hinata gave a nod of agreement. Asuma gave him a look. Don't underestimate Ino, kid. I'm not underestimating her. If I didn't know what Sasuke would be thinking at that declaration, I wouldn't have said that. Sakura asked, suddenly afraid. What is it? Hinata said. One word. Vent. Kurenai was frightened by Sakura's somewhat sadistic smile. Sakura. Don't worry, sensei. This is a match I'm going to enjoy, she said. Ino will get her butt kicked here. Despite their confusion, the sand and sound teams continued to monitor. Both of them nodded when asked. Ino Yamanaka against Sasuke Uchiha. Ready? Begin, she yelled. Ino immediately adopted a savage expression. She declared, you're mine. Sasuke.kun. Ino was somewhat taken aback when Sasuke said, you're lucky you're a Konoha Kunoichi. Otherwise, you would be dead. I'll settle for extreme torture. Though not into the Sharingan. Sasuke's eyes change. Everyone who saw it was taken aback when they used a black slid to go amber. Excluding Sarutobi and Team 7. Ino was caught the instant Sasuke's eyes locked with hers. Genjutsu realm. There was a red moon in the sky when Ino found herself there. Where am I? Welcome to the Tsukuyomi. The nightmare realm. This is actually supposed to be a Sharingan specific jutsu, and one you can't break out of. You're so cool. You won't be thinking that when we're done here. Time and space, even physical mass. I control all of them. I will break you, and then I will continue to torture you. Sasuke stated prior to his disappearance. She yelled, Sasuke.kun. Before he materialized in front of her, Naruto doing something. Obscene items behind him. Pound it. Come on. Before the image vanished, Ino screamed as she watched it, unable to blink or close her eyes to stop herself from watching it for what felt like an hour. 71 hours, 59 minutes and 59 seconds to go. What? Ino let out a mental scream. He spoke once more for what felt like another 20 days of mentally tormenting her and thinking about him. She yelled aloud, 42 hours, 7 minutes, and 27 seconds to go. Sasuke appeared in front of her with a katana in his hand, and Ino appeared on a cross. Now that you have almost been broken mentally, time for the next point. Physical torture. He gave her a stomach stab wound. You won't be able to die here, unless I will it. I could kill you where you are now, but that wouldn't bring me any satisfaction. You're the only fangirl I have left. As such, I will be taking out all my hatred of fangirls on you. If she hadn't lost her breath, she would have gasped. 4 more Sasukes showed up, each brandishing a katana. He stabbed her right arm, right kidney, left lung, and just below the waist. From behind, another one grew from her chest. This one came within an inch of breaking her heart. A number of additional Inos emerged, each of which was connected to a different cross. She screamed until it was all over. The truth. After 3 seconds of standing there, Sasuke turned around as Ino fell to the ground. She's done. I'd be surprised if she woke up within 3 weeks. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Tsukuyomi. It's either that or one of the more dangerous ones. I wasn't planning on explaining that one, though. And how do you plan on explaining what you did to Kakashi, sensei? Say it was something that the dragons gave me. After all, I was using the eye of the dragon to use it. It's a neat way to perform the Mangekyo Jutsu without any true problems. I could just say that the eye of the dragon has a few similar abilities, but only a summoner of the dragons could wield it, and only after going through a harsh training. Naruto paused and said, that's a good thought. Just one problem. How do you plan on explaining what you do with that? Hey. You'd be surprised. I know there is going to be another month before the final portion begins. That's when I'm going to hone it, something I have yet to do. Fu added, good idea. If everyone else thinks it's a jutsu from the dragon summonings, they may question how he found it, if only to add it into the village. It won't happen easily. If they ask that I do so, I'll tell them the truth. I didn't find them. They found me. They tested me, and I passed. Plain and simple. They still believe that I'm loyal to them. They're fools, Sasuke said. As Hinata cautioned, watch it Sasuke, you don't want to get hit for treason, do you? My loyalties lie with the dragons first. Naruto is second, the village is third. As Ino was carried out of the room, unconscious, Naruto and Hinata shook their heads. Kinuta Dosu vs Akamichi Choji N. This was an entirely canon fight. I shouldn't have to explain it as a result. Kankuro no Sabaku vs Higurashi Tenten. The bandaged object turned out to be a puppet as Tenten and Kankuro looked down at one another. There were blows. They shot or threw weapons. Tenten took out 2 scrolls and set them on the ground after 10 minutes of this. Hopefully, I won't need to use this just yet. The scrolls startled Kankuro a little, but he was even more shocked when they transformed into dragons that resembled mist and rose into the sky, with Tenten trailing behind them to the top. She kept opening weapons and throwing them at Kankuro and his puppet, shouting, rising twin dragons. Although the puppet was able to avoid it, Kankuro's luck was not quite as good as it had been. Kankuro grinned when Tenten's arsenal was depleted. Is that all? Before the weapons all got up and swiftly charged Kankuro, Tenten smirked and flicked her fingers. Despite not anticipating this, he was able to avoid every strike. His puppet then put Tenten in a stranglehold after he flicked one finger, paralyzing her. That was quite the surprise. I didn't expect that to come. But you still lose. Give up, or I'll break your neck. It goes without saying that she gave up. Winner, Kankuro. Next match. At the next match, everyone in the stands stood with wide eyes. Hyuga Hinata versus Hyuga Neji. Neji looked at Hinata savagely. He intended to savor her wriggling. The fact that she didn't even flinch infuriated him. She went to the floor of the arena and just stared blankly at him. Begin. Hinata remarked, "You have already lost, Neji. Fate is on my side. You shall lose." Neji frowned as Hinata shot back, "Fate is not a part of this battle." "Fate is." He interrupted. Hinata further enraged him by saying, "That is one reason you have lost. There are two others. Both of which, you are blind to." "My eyes see all." "I never said your eyes were blind, I said you were blind." Heishi was taken aback by the verbal abuse in the viewing room. He pondered out loud, "Kakashi, just what did you teach her?" Sarutobi attracted everyone's attention by saying, "From what I understand, nothing. Kakashi Hatake does not train Team 7. He doesn't need to. All training is done on even ground. Naruto Uzumaki is the one that provides the majority of the training." "What do you mean? A few months ago, she couldn't take an insult from him." "If I recall, a few months ago, she was a shy, broken girl. Now, because of the team, she has grown, but has yet to bloom." Sarutobi responded. "Naruto has done more for her than he should have, but he has done well." "I see." Yet another thing to rub in the face of the Hyuga elders. Some of them are still pissed she progressed more under someone not of Hyuga blood than from them. If they caught wind of this, they'd be calling for blood. "And if they do, they'll get the picture the moment his heritage is revealed," Sarutobi said. Heishi responds with a nod, returning to the arena. Hinata sighed that her cousin had not offered any encouraging taunts. She appeared behind Neji right away, then struck him once, causing him to lose consciousness and fall on his face. "I was right. You have lost before the fight has begun. Your mental state is corrupted. That was the second reason you have already lost. And the final reason," she said. "Fate has lost its hold on me the moment I stopped living with the Hyuga clan. There goes a saying. Those who don't follow the rules are trash. However, those that abandon their comrades are worse than trash. There is one more piece I believe should be added on to that." She stopped and looked at him with complete disdain. Hinata turned around and remarked, "Those who are blind to the truth, and do not wish to see it, are worse than those that abandon their comrades. Proctor.san, I win." Yugo gave a nod of agreement. "Winner, Hinata Hyuga." Naruto followed Hinata. Naruto nodded and said, "That good enough for now? I wonder what Fu would think. You do realize I'm watching the entire thing with the clan heads and the Sandame, right?" "No, I wasn't. Good thing too. Looks like I'm up next." Uzumaki Naruto versus Haruno Sakura. Sakura went pale. She yelled, "Proctor, I forfeit." Sasuke gave her a long look. "I don't stand a chance against him even if I'm at 100% and he were at 1%, without either arm, and missing a leg." Naruto yelled, "Are you kidding?" at her. "I've seen you train for a month. You're obviously better than you give yourself credit for. One of the many reasons why I don't stand a chance. I could give you a list of all the ways I could lose, but that would take days to write up, so that wouldn't do anyone any good," Sakura responded. This surprised Kurenai, but he managed to hide it well. Kakashi grinned. "Well, Kurenai, it looks like I win that one, as well." She squinted at him and said, "You set that one up, didn't you?" "Honestly, I was hoping for the Inuzuka. But Sakura works just as well, as she did forfeit." "Remember Guy, you've got one as well." Kakashi acknowledged. Guy gave a nod of agreement. Winner by forfeit. Naruto Uzumaki, Lee Rock, versus Gaara no Sabaku. Lee knew right away who his opponent was and that his chances were slim. Rewind. Lee approached Naruto and Gaara, who were seated together. "Naruto, what luck running into you here?" Naruto questioned, somewhat taken aback. Lee, "Oh, hey, Lee, this is Gaara. Remember our little talk about the Biju in private?" Lee gave a nod. "Well, he's like me." Lee turned to face Gaara, who was taken aback by Naruto's abrupt revelation. Naruto sighed as Lee turned back to face him, then he bowed and turned back to Gaara. "Pleasure to meet you, Gaara. Please know that me knowing this will not affect my opinion of you in any way that could be considered negative, just like I do for Naruto. He has told me about the fuzzy in him, and I do not care one bit about it. However, if we face each other in the exams from here on out, I will forfeit, as I have a feeling that I will not be able to defeat you as I am. I might never be able to, depending on the abilities you get." After blinking at that, Gaara turned to face Naruto. "That's why you told him?" Naruto gave a nod. He was the dead last of his class, unable to use ninjutsu, or genjutsu. He has a bit of fuinjutsu, but mainly storage. He is aware that who we have sealed within does not make us who we are unless we let them. Gaara gave that a nod. I am afraid to say that I have a blood-crazed act up, and it will be staying up until after the exams are over with. Lee grinned. Do not tell anyone else about me, either. I may trust his judgment, but I do not trust you. I understand. This information will not leave my lips without your express permission, or I will forbid myself from using the flames of youth. Lee replied. With me and my sensei, that is better than you will get from an honor-bound samurai. Knowing what he meant, Gaara nodded. Lee gave Naruto a look. Naruto nodded and turned to face Gaara. Naruto, Sakura. Chan has been searching for you. She stated that it was crucial. Looks like I have to go. Rewind. Kai. Lee reached down and held up his hand. Proctor, I am sorry, but I forfeit this match, knowing that my style will never beat his. Gaara grinned to herself. I see you're keeping your word. Why don't you kill him now? Because he's keeping his end of the bargain. He is at least somewhat trustworthy because he fulfilled his end of the agreement. Yugo questioned. 2 forfeits in a row. What's going on here? Before returning to his sensei, Lee remarked, I know when I am outclassed on epic proportions. Gaara would advance even if I did fight. Lee gave him a direct look and sent a message. You can't play around with him. He can easily and without blinking kill Junin. Guy blinked. Why? He is only a genin in rank. His skill deserves Anbu or higher. Lee stated to him. There is also something else, sensei. Something is off about him. It is as if he knows everything about me, yet I know little to nothing about him. I am sorry sensei, but this is a fight I cannot win. Guy gave a nod. Lee, you are a good judge of your own strength, and can tell when you will never win. Why do you not do the same with Neji? Because even if he is stronger than me, I know him, and he needed to be taken down a few pegs. He is too arrogant for his own good, and it diminishes his flames of youth. Replied Lee. Sensei, this is the truth, whether we like it or not. However, I now have an eternal rival myself, and it is not Neji. Don't tell me it's Hinata. No sensei, it is Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. I have seen what his potential is. I am also striving for that potential. Without glancing at Lee, Naruto remarked, You're going to have a tough time, Lee. After Temari knocked Kiba unconscious, he said, I am not looking for rivals, because I have too many enemies already. And there goes dog breath. Anyway, I have several people after my head. I need to realize my potential before they make a move. The way things are going, I may not have enough time, but that will not stop me. Kin lost the brief battle with Shikamaru. Shino Aburame and Zaku Abumi, the final 2, came forward. A.N. Cannon fight. Ask, then kill yourself. Yugo glanced at the remaining people. Will all of you who proceed please come down? She was approached in line by Naruto, Sasuke, Hinata, Kankuro, Temari, Gaara, Shino, Shikamaru, and Dosu. Anko approached them carrying a box. Pull a number from this box and wait for my signal to reveal, or speak. All of them did, and Anko moved to Yugo's side. Numbers? Naruto, 1. Hinata, 6. Dosu, 5. Shikamaru, 7. Temari did not say anything, but she did reveal an 8. Gaara said, 3. Sasuke grinned. 4. Shino displayed his own, displaying a 9. Kankuro pointed at Naruto while holding a 2. Why him? With Kankuro frozen in place, Naruto asked, So, my first opponent is a cat? Or is it just because he's a she? The makeup doesn't do much for a male image. It's war paint. He stopped to glance at Temari and said, It looks like it came from your sister's makeup drawer. Probably something for her lips. Can't say for sure. Temari received a tick mark right away and then scowled at Kankuro. Kankuro. When he heard her, he went pale and started running like Guy on steroids. He'll get what's coming to him. He's been taking my lip gloss and lipstick. They've both gone missing, and he always had the war paint after they do. Can't believe I didn't notice. Gaara asked, And you call yourself observant? Temari stopped talking and left. I'll see you back at the room. Naruto nodded as Gaara glanced at him. The others had already left, leaving only Team 7, the Konoha Junin, and the Hokage in the hallway. Alright, Naruto. What news do the clans have? Nothing much is new. Everything is going according to our plans. However, Orochimaru has been getting a little impatient these last few days. He's definitely after Sasuke, though he is unaware of what the implications are at this point. Hinata, myself, and Sasuke will be training with our respective summons for the next month. Fu is going to the Kabutomushi. She will be staying there until after the finals. She is already aware of this, and she has agreed. I will not be training, as my team does not think I need to just yet. However, there is a bit of merit for Shukaku at this point. They are counting on her to destroy their enemies. She and I have already worked out an agreement. When the signal is given, I will be retreating into the forest, under the guise of losing it. When I am in the forests, I will attack all Auto shinobi, but if Konoha or Suna shinobi get in the way of the attacks, then it is their fault. Not mine. For this reason, it is my own piece to the plan. Lord Hokage, you better not die against the snake. Otherwise, I will bring you back, and I will kill you myself for your ineptitude, Gaara said. Ignoring the shocked expressions on the Junin's faces, Sarutobi nodded in agreement. He has been posing as the Kazekage for a while. Do not attack off the bat. Wait until the plan is executed, but be on guard the entire time. The snake is gonna pay for what he's doing to my village. Naruto said, well said, Gaara. You're putting the village above your orders. That's good. Sarutobi said, he will not be easy to catch off guard. Trust me. He won't know what hit him, and neither will the attack forces. Suna Nin are to be knocked out, Auto Nin. No mercy. Naruto said. Seeing that Orochimaru was manipulating Sanagakure, the Junin nodded. Unless they hit my traps entering the forest, of course. They'll be dead, anyway, as I plan on upgrading them from detainment to kill. All of Junin became pale. Naruto departed in a flame shunshin, with Sasuke following shortly after. In any case, there's also the fact that I have another set of armor to finish making for the Uchiha. I have the design and materials, now I have the time. Hinata let out a sigh. She departed in a whirlwind, asking, why am I always last? With a shrug, Gaara walked away wearing a sand shunshin. Turning, Sarutobi faced the Junin. Do you really think we should let him go through with planning against them, Lord Hokage? Yugo responded. Yes, I am sure. He is already making plans for a group of S-rank rogues that happen to be after his head. They won't get by him that easily. And I recently found out that he has turned his entire pranking experience into a strategy booklet. Jiraiya stated out loud that some of them are so crazy that Inara would lose to it on their best day. Despite being taken aback, everyone nodded. However, Shikaku Nara and Asuma were dubious. Only Anko noticed that Kurenai was standing a little bit closer to Kakashi than most people would have thought she should be. Except for Anko, Kurenai, and Kakashi, everyone went. Anko gave them a look. Alright, spill it. What happened? With narrowed eyes, Kurenai asked, what do you mean? Just yesterday you were fawning over Asuma, and now you're after him? Asked Anko. Kurenai said, I didn't tell you, did I? Asuma is currently cheating on me. Kakashi made a bet with me that he would be a lot better than Asuma, and since we aren't officially broken up yet. Anko arched an eyebrow and asked, payback. One reason why, said Kakashi. However, she wasn't going to go for it at first. The bet was that Sakura would forfeit her match in the preliminary round. I said she would, but Kurenai said she wouldn't. The moment she looked at the board displaying her opponent, she forfeited. I don't know how they did that, but still, I lucked out there. I definitely wasn't expecting her to land Naruto as an opponent. Kurenai said, somehow, I believe this was all fixed. Kakashi nodded in understanding, saying, however, as per the first bet, I will give you the chance, but it is only a one-time thing. Both of them departed in a shunshin. Conversely, Anko grinned at the implication. After that, she is going to love him. 4 hours later, Kurenai and Kakashi were naked and lying in a bed with their covers on. My god, how are you so good at that? Kurenai gave Kakashi 2 wide eyes as he said, I could have kept going, you know, the only reason I didn't, was so I didn't shut down the nerves in your legs. I could tell they were already numb. You didn't answer my question. Would you believe that Icha Icha is a great way to learn about the human body and how it reacts? Kurenai deadpanned. No, Kakashi answered, then you wouldn't believe me if I told you. Kakashi nodded before falling asleep. I'm staying here for tonight. Is that okay? She asked. It's unbelievable that I was able to persuade her to do this. Kakashi thought, not bad for a virgin, like myself, and then he dozed off. When he awoke the following morning, Kurenai was still in bed but had begun to wake up. Your students have trainers already, and Shino is with his father for the finals. Ready for round 2? Kakashi inquired, somewhat taken aback, what happened to the one-time thing? Kurenai smiled slightly and whispered into his ear, Well, I changed my mind. Besides, this will give you a better reason to be late. 3 hours later. Kakashi and Kurenai parted ways. I still don't get how you have so much stamina. When you had to catch Naruto after pulling a prank, your stamina is put to the ultimate test. Even Anbu fear those kinds of tests, because the only one to ever truly catch him was Iruka. Kakashi acknowledged. You could say that I got the stamina through all of that. After that, Kurenai stood up and pointed to the camera staring at him from the bathroom door without even bothering to put on his clothes. Not wearing his mask. At that point, she was conveniently out of the picture. That camera. It isn't recording here, is it? Kakashi gave it a brief glance before his eyes grew wide. Leaping to it, he switched it off. Kurenai stared at him before realizing what he had said, and her eyes widened. I'm gonna kill Tenzo. You mean? That camera is programmed to continue recording until shut off. It goes straight to Tenzu's recording station. That means he has the entire thing recorded. Said Kakashi. As I said, I am going to fucking kill him. According to Kurenai, don't bother. If it got everything, then it would have me saying I didn't want it to be a one-time only thing. Besides, if it gets to Asuma, then he'll go berserk, or break down. At that moment, Kakashi had a devilish thought, which was evident in his smirk. How about this? That night, they summoned Asuma to see the Hokage. You called, sir? Asuma, are you and Kurenai in a relationship? I didn't think you'd call me for that, but, I guess, never truly made it official, you know. Asuma took it and pondered what it was before inserting it into the VCR and pressing play. Well then, take a look at this. It is from Tenzo, as he is the one that caught it on tape. Sarutobi turned to Asuma after several hours of no audio action. Well? Asuma was furious, saying, that little. He didn't approve of this at all. I'm gonna kill that pup. Sarutobi orders, Asuma, no, but Pops. You did not catch what was going on, do you? For I also have another one. Though Kurenai had not yet seen it, she would have done something like this anyway if she did. Kakashi showed up at work. Lord Hokage, I believe that. Asuma, what are you doing here? Kakashi. Let me guess, you already saw the tape Tenzo took of either this morning, or last night, correct? Asuma gave him a fierce glare. You only have yourself to blame for that. She caught you with that Kira chick, but said that she was expecting it sooner or later. That was to get her back on her feet. Before turning to face the Hokage, Kakashi said, and yet you didn't explain it to her beforehand. Lord Hokage, if I may ask, do you know when Jiraiya will return? He is scheduled to return in 2 days. He has more information, but is also unaware of the other sources we have at the moment. Or the fact that they are also gathering information on them as well. Kakashi gave nod. Well, I am basically free until the finals. All 3 of my students have their own teachers for this, and no one will be able to find them except for you, and Jiraiya. From what I understand, however, Naruto will be hard to pinpoint for anyone but Jiraiya. The other 2 have a set location as there is only 1 summon for each. He has 3. Sarutobi gave that a nod. Kakashi shook his head and asked, and you are requesting a mission of sorts? Some time off is what I am requesting, sir. Asuma glared and asked, why? So you can bang Kurenai again? Kakashi said, that would be her choice if I did. Sarutobi had a minor nosebleed after realizing the double meaning. But in case you're wondering, that is not on my list of plans, though I can make an insertion if she asks. Anyway, that is all I really came here for. After nodding, Kakashi departed in a shunshin, saying, very well, but make sure you are ready when the time comes. With Shikamaru was lying on the ground with his father when he had a Naruto worthy thought. Shikaku glanced at him and asked, quick question. Is it possible to summon beasts from our shadow? Shikaku gave him a look. If you want to learn, then fine. However, only a select few Nara have ever been able to do so. The jutsu was a rumor, but could have been true. I've never seen it happen, but I have heard descriptions. Shikaku clarified the matter for him. You'd have to experiment. I can honestly say I have no idea how to do so myself. It's the only thing I actually failed at. That is something that I quit working on after 3 months of no progress, but I knew of it before I tried. After a while of humming to himself, Shikamaru made a hand sign that Shikaku did not recognize. Both hands' fingers were hooked, and their palms touched at the heel. The base and first knuckles of these hooks are perfectly positioned in relation to the backs of the hands. The last digit of each finger was bent toward the palm, and the distance from that to the next knuckle is perpendicular to the first segment. Like the boar sign, the hooks on the right hand were above, and the hooks on the left were below. The thumbs ran along the sides of the hands and were straight. After that, Shikamaru's shadow vibrated, and as a result, something was formed from it while it ran. It changed into a more satanic dog with spikes all over its body and no eyes. As it ran around the field, the spine was also sticking out from the back. After that, it turned to face Shikaku, who was shocked that he had hit it on the first try, and was ready to hit it when it was struck by another shadow and vanished into more darkness. A Fenrir. Not bad, son. First shot too, he said. But how did you get it right on the first try? Shikamaru gave a shrug. The image came. Something that Naruto once described to me. I tried making one, and it worked. And the hand sign? The moment I went for it, the image popped in my head. I figured, why not? So I used it, it worked. Shikamaru shrugged and asked, think you can make others? Then we have something that you should be able to work out. Work on making them, and others like them. When you make 10 different ones, then let me and your mother know. She's going to find out about it the moment we get back. As Shikamaru deadpanned, troublesome. According to Shikaku, maybe so. The implications shocked Shikamaru, who said, however, that particular jutsu is worth all that trouble, and then some. You make it sound like it can do anything. As I said, I don't know how it works, exactly. But you can figure it out. The fact that you could do that, but I never could, and still can't, is a boon for you. At this point, if you can master it, then you can outdo a Jinchuriki, unless they have access to a clone jutsu. Like Naruto, right? What brought him up? You did. I think he is one, but no one talks about it. It would make sense, if you ask me. I mean, the day he was born, the marks on his face, sudden improvement with a competent sensei, it would definitely make sense. Not to mention the majority of the village hates him to the point of wanting to kill him. You don't go that far for pranks. No matter how bad they are. Shikaku thought, I assumed you would figure it out sooner or later, and if he is, then for what? Then Shikaku sighed, the Kyuubi no Yoko is my guess. Shikamaru, that kind of information is SS class. If you can figure that out, you've probably also figured out who his father is. If that is the case, that is actually an SSS class secret. I'm not even supposed to know. I'm letting you know this now, so that you don't get yourself killed saying it to anyone. So, his father has his face on a mountain, huh? I really shouldn't be surprised. He's got the blood, talent, and the will to work it all together. Shikamaru murmured. Troublesome, but I get it. That stuff isn't going out. At least. Not until it goes public through an announcement. I have a feeling it will all be released and the restrictions on them will be long gone. Shikaku nodded in agreement. Fire Country, with a certain blonde Shizune and Tsunade were preparing to depart from another town. Shizune said, Lady Tsunade, why are we leaving now? The Chunin exams. They're in Konohagakure. I also received word that someone else is using a much more bastardized version of my enhanced strength. The information came from Naruto, and she does show promise. I am heading back now to help train her, and get her ready for whatever it is that's coming. They'll need all the help they can get. Shizune grinned. Besides, we finally worked off my last debt. I was planning on going back after that happened anyway. Now I can go back to him with the only regret being that I didn't come any sooner. A slug appeared in front of Tsunade. Lady Tsunade, there is a message from the Kitsune clan. Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata all made it to the final part of the Chunin exams. They're training with the Phoenix, Dragon and Kitsune clans respectively. Tsunade gave a nod. Send word to Naruto that I've tied up all the loose ends here, and I'm coming to the village. If that pink-haired Kunoichi is there, then I will ask her sensei if I can train her myself. The Haruno of Naruto's graduating year. Shizune gave a nod. Lady Tsunade, there is one more thing. The Toad and Monkey clans are aware of an invasion, as are everyone else in the alliance. We are also going to help out, but we needed to let you know. I see. And why isn't Jiraiya telling me this in person? He is already inside of Konohagakure, working on the defenses with a booklet that Naruto handed him. No one knows what he plans on doing with them, but since Naruto came up with them, which only the Alliance, Sarutobi, Jiraiya, and Naruto know this, you can tell that if someone goes through them, someone is going to go down in style. If there's one thing I've learned from the letters I got from him, his trap. Making prowess is second only to his pranking. If he designed the defenses, then damn near no one is going to get past them. Anything you wish for us to tell them, aside from my message to Naruto? Nothing. If anything comes up with him, I'll deal with it, and this includes his child. I was not aware he had child. Then Tsunade smirked and said, it is Fu's child as well. Thank you for the information. However, he doesn't want it to get out to those that don't already know. Keep that information to yourself. Yes, ma'am. Tsunade turned to Shizune as the slug vanished. You ready? A nod. They both checked out and drove away in a shunshin after saying, then let's go, triple time. 1 week later, an unidentified cave. There were several holograms nearby. One that resembled a fish said, Leader. Sama, why is it we were called? Zetsu has found some intriguing information. That plant dude? Inquired the fish guy. Zetsu, the plant guy, said, Kisame, shut up. It appears the Kyuubi Jinchuriki has been evading our much more powerful sensory bodies. He is far smarter than most would think. Even us. And there is more. The Nanabi Jinchuriki is also pregnant. It is the Kyuubi Jinchuriki's child, as well. This is good news. The Nanabi Jinchuriki will be the next target then. Won't work. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki has already planned for that. She will be hidden until the baby is born. We have yet to find the location. It stands to reason that they are aware that we after them. As to how, we have no idea. Keep watching over them. We have lost both of them. They both went out through a reverse summoning jutsu. We were not even aware that the Nanabi Jinchuriki had signed one. We are at a loss at where to begin searching. We have yet to give up though. They can't hide forever. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki is participating in the Chunin exam finals. His first fight will not be a hard one. It is the second one that I worry for. There is a Uchiha or the Ichibi Jinchuriki within the fight, as well as him. It would be prudent to see what he has been going for in his training. Very well. We have not lost him indefinitely. Kisame, Itachi. Wait outside of Konohagakure's detection range. He will be coming out of Konohagakure sooner or later. Go after him when he does. Itachi said, yes sir, and then blinked. Before blinking out himself, the fish guy, Kisame, said, hey, this is gonna be fun when he does. Everyone else, return to your usual duties. Be wary. It seems the other Jinchuriki know that we're after them. Something that doesn't seem right. The leader said. Be careful. They may have specialized squads to deal with us if they do. The others there blinked and nodded, and then someone else showed up. He wore an orange spiral mask and said, Pain, have you any idea how they know of us? The leader answered, Orochimaru is my only guess. Someone got the information from him, and they spread it around. No, I don't think Orochimaru gave out the information. He may have been a snake, but he would have tried to kill them instead of trying to save them. It is not his style. Something doesn't add up here, and I want to find out what it is. I mean, Yagura gave up his position as Mizukage, gave it to a bloodline user, and committed suicide. He also told his successor not to search for the Sanbi. If anyone knows where he is, we will be able to find out. However, this is putting a serious kink in our plans. It's been well over 6 months since then, and we still haven't found it. I am aware. Something is not right about this. The Jinchuriki know too much. I can't help but think we were a little too careless. We only have the Rokubi at this point. The rest have been fleeing at the sight of any of us. This includes Deidara, which Orochimaru left an entire year before he joined. Pain continued. Give it time. They will reveal their locations soon. Kabutomushi Realm, 2 weeks following the preliminary round. Fu had appeared somewhat. The word is fat. She has actually been here for what feels like 4 months. Taigoku, please, tell me when it is possible for me to leave. I've been here for 4 months already. Lady Fu. It has been 4 months, 2 weeks, 5 days, 3 hours and 17 minutes here. However, only 16 days have passed in Konohagakure. We will be contacting the Phoenix clan when it is nearly time for the birth. At the rate it's going, I'd say you have 2 or 3 weeks left in here with the current space-time displacement. You lost me. I'm afraid I'm not sure where to begin the explanation. Anyway, I guess you could say we're using the Summon Realm to speed up the process of your pregnancy. The baby will be born here, where Madara can't reach it. No one except a Kabutomushi can enter without permission. Hell, Jiraiya wouldn't be able to come here until we allow him to. This place is damn near on lockdown. We are going to get Naruto here for when it does happen. That way, he can be there for it. By the way, the gender has been found out. Well, what is it? It's a. Sasuke, Hinata, and Naruto were gathered around a bed in the Kabutomushi realm that contained Fu. Naruto questioned, "You're sure it's time for it?" "Yes, I'm certain." "She's about to." Hinata yelled, "Her water broke, get it ready," while the other Kabutomushi fumbled. "Naruto, I'm gonna kill you for doing this to me," Fu screamed. Her voice apparently became demonic for this very reason. Naruto said, if you're going to do something, do it to my hand. She almost crushed it. My hand wouldn't be intact with that crushing strength if it weren't for my endurance training. As an afterthought, he added. ARRRRGGHHHHH. Kit, this girl is doing far worse than your mother did. At least the guy would have his hand intact. If your father got hit with that kind of strength. Not yet, Fox. Naruto screamed in his head. Now is not the time to deal with all of that, oh no. Kurama began to perspire. And I believed I was frugal. Naruto heard himself ask himself, Naruto, what the hell is going on? Kakashi was the one. Kakashi. Sensei. Yeah, but what are shouting about? Fu is giving birth now, and my hand is being crushed, what do you think? In Konohagakure, Kakashi raised his gaze from the book he was holding. Kurenai gave him a fierce look. Why are you stopping with that one? Kurenai. No one has seen my true face but you. But how about a bet? Kakashi responded. What brought this on? Kakashi asked himself in his head, Naruto, is the baby born yet? No, it hasn't. Ow. Fu's giving birth right now. How that is when it's only been almost 3 weeks, I have no idea. How about we guess which gender it will be? You win. I take off the mask for good. I win. If you win, I'll go through every Icha volume for sale at this very moment. Kurenai went on. She held out a hand and said, deal? He snatched it and shook, saying, deal. You choose first. I'm placing my bet as a female. Kakashi declared, then I get male. Hey Naruto. When the baby is finally out, let me know what the gender is. Let me guess, you made a bet on the gender didn't you? Replied Hinata. Hate to say it but I did. Stakes. Ow. Exclaimed Naruto. I win. Kurenai's going through every Icha volume to date. She wins. I throw away the mask for good. Kabutomushi realm, at least a blood clone of Naruto was waiting, even though his hand was aching. Hinata nodded as she turned to face Naruto. Despite his pain, he nodded back. And plenty of it. She turned back to face the emerging baby. I can see the head. A flying beetle exclaimed, one more push, in a screech. Ah! Fu exclaimed as she gave another shove and let go of Naruto's hand. Hinata raised a blanket. Wrapped infant. The blanket was yellow. She said, he's finally here. He. Echoed Naruto and Fu. She gave Naruto the infant. He gave the infant a gentle glance. He was definitely a man. On the head, though, was a tiny tuft of red hair. Fu said, Naruto. Name him. We had an agreement, Fu. You would name our first child, while I would name the second, he stated to her. She said, I won't be able to. I doubt. I'll see the next day, please. Naruto knelt next to her and touched her forehead. Fu. Don't die on me. Baka. If I die, they can't get Chomei. He's willing to go out. To stop their plans, she replied. There was pain in her voice. Promise me. Take care of him. Naruto gave Hinata a serious look and said, no, Fu, I won't let you die on me. Hold my son. I'm gonna try something. While taking the baby, Hinata gave Naruto a terrified look. What are you? Naruto quickly covered both of his arms with black marks, which were now visible from the elbow. Don't speak, and hope this works. He yelled. Fuinjutsu. Creation rebirth. As the marks spread to Fu's body. Then she gasped, what? I'm not going to let you die, Fu. Not now, not ever. He yelled, ha. Before they were separated from the rest of the world, a stream of yellow, light blue, dark blue, and blood-red chakra surrounded them both. Fearful, Hinata called forth a kitsune. Hina, what the hell is going on here? Sasuke called forth Spyro. Sasuke? He asked, glancing at the power output nearby. What the fuck? When the power began to fade, Fu and Naruto were both found unconscious. A Kabutomushi approached them and inquired about their well-being. She sighed and first checked on Naruto. He then went to check on Fu. He looked around at the others. The baby will stay here until they both awaken. Kitsune said, Tentacoid, what happened? Lady Fu was passing away. Lord Naruto tried to stop it. Did it work? Inquired Sasuke. Tentacoid steered clear of Sasuke's gaze. Hinata quickly understood the message. The Kabutomushi turned to Hinata and gave her his response. Did he? She rushed toward them. He is only unconscious. But Lady Fu. She's dead. Lord Chomei did survive, but he's not in the body, or the baby, said Tentacoid. Hinata said, let him rest. He will need it. She sat down beside him and began to meditate, saying, "I'll go into his mind. See what's going on." The mindscape of Naruto in front of the fox. Naruto awoke. What happened? You tried using the creation rebirth seal. You're unconscious. I have only one thing to say. If you're going to yell at me, then save it. I know the seal wasn't completely filled yet, but I had to try. After that, Naruto arched an eyebrow and said, "Make that two things." Kurama yelled, "One. Are you fucking insane? Come off it. This is only the second most insane thing I've ever done." "Surely you remember what happened when I was only 7, replied Naruto. Kurama stopped talking. "You've got a point there." Naruto questioned, "Now what's the other one?" "I'm proud of you, regardless of your stupidity. All this time. I think that's the first true blue compliment you've ever given me. Don't get used to it. Don't worry. Getting you to promise that is like Konohamaru destroying the universe. It will never happen," Naruto said. "Good to see you've figured that out." Kurama shivered. "Doesn't mean I won't try. Anyway, did it work?" "I can feel Chomei's Yuki. He's alive. I can't say the same for Fu, I don't think." "No." Naruto knelt down. No. Hinata walked into the room. "Kurama. Please tell me that girl is alive." With her head turned away from him, Hinata said, "He's going to be in a bad mental state for a while." Then, with tears in his eyes, Naruto turned to face Hinata, or rather, behind her. "Fu," he said. "You didn't anticipate that I would give up in that manner, did you?" Somehow in his mind, Fu answered. "What the?" Before assuming a combat stance, Hinata's eyes narrowed. "Who are you?" Hinata's eyes widened as Naruto arched an eyebrow and said, "Oh, pipe down, Lavengard." "Lavengard?" Naruto inquired. "The only person who is aware of that name is, however, that's... Is it impossible?" "I thought so too," Fu said, receiving a nod from the Hyuga. Chomei apparently anticipated all of this. "You mean that Beetle didn't stop it even though it saw this happening?" Fu acknowledged. "I don't think he could. Chomei is free, but not free. That much can be explained as to why I'm here." Author's style. Jutsu without flashback. Gazing at the enormous kabutomushi, Fu asked, "What's happening? I assumed you would be freed if I passed away. Do you recall that I took precautions?" "Well, this is what they were for," Fu said, nodding. "We split up here. I'll be taking care of your newborn." "But wouldn't that make him?" "Not exactly. I voluntarily choose to do this. You won't be dead, but Akatsuki will hear that you are. However, you will be able to have a grave and your body will. But you won't perish, unless your partner does." "What do you mean?" Fu asked, his eyes widening. "As we speak, he is attempting to save you. What he's doing won't bring your body back to life. But we can take advantage of this." Chomei said, "When he eventually pulls his chakra back, use it as a way to release your life force. Through him, you will continue to live." "How is my son doing?" "He will need to be supported by Naruto. I'm confident he'll succeed. You will be on standby for him. Recall. You will live as long as he does. Your little boy. My next vessel will be him. No seal will be present. He will contain my whole being. Chomei isn't a kabutomushi anymore. I want you to call your son Chomei, if that's okay with you. Uzumaki Chomei. He'll be himself. Not like me. He will at least lose consciousness for a few days when he turns 10. All of my memories will be his to do with as he pleases." "But wouldn't that be too much for him to handle?" "What?" Fu inquired. "You and Naruto are responsible for stopping that. He will live if his mind is strong. He won't make it if his mind is weak. My essence will perish with his, either way. I'm not going to be born again after him. I can't be let go. Akatsuki will have to steal the essence of a human in order to succeed. A human with half-blood." "Half-blood? I don't know why exactly, but he's half-demon and half-human. I don't know what demon it is. Either the Kitsune clan or the Kabutomushi clan will have to teach him, in any case. That much is for sure. Give Kurama this message. You will live in your mate's thoughts, and I will live through the sun." "Will I ever see you again?" Fu nodded. Chomei answered, "Somehow, I doubt it, now get going." The author uses a flashback release style. "And that's what happened," Fu sighed. "Before I know it, I'm in the same mental abyss. Which brings to mind." She turned to Naruto and asked, "When will you alter your mindscape?" "The seal is actually only found in the sewer. I can manipulate anywhere." He looked back at Kurama and sighed. "I've tried 5 times, if I'm counting right, but even if I do change this place, it will revert back after I leave." "I counted 4. Did you remember when we first met? So you gave it a try?" I thought my head was in the gutter when I saw the sewer. I considered changing it as soon as you confirmed your identity. The little flower I placed there as an experiment seems to have slipped your mind. When I returned, I discovered that the flower was gone. Sweating, Kurama said, I do not recall that. Naruto looked back at the fox and shrugged before turning to face the others. Anyway, I guess this means I can talk to you all the time. I'll take them to the cabin in my mindscape, he said. I'll see you eventually. Before Naruto grabbed her wrist, Hinata said, I'll head back out and tell them the news. She turned to face him. No, there is absolutely no place for saying this. Except for those in the alliance, no one outside of this group is aware of the Nanabi's name. Sasuke isn't even aware of it, as far as I can tell. Why not? Consider it from a political perspective. Even though he won't be a Jinchuriki or a full-blood demon, if Anyunya including Akatsukiya ever learns that Fu is now living in my head and that the Nanabi has reincarnated into our son, they will perceive him as the Nanabi. It's simple. He will be targeted by Akatsuki, just as they are now targeting me. He turned to face Fu and said, I don't want that. How many have you told? Just Iruka, your team, and the Sandane. When I told Iruka, I made sure that privacy seals were in effect. That which you designated for it. Fu answered, no one else was in the barrier. Naruto nodded. They won't even be aware of this. Kakashi cannot be informed. We will create the impression that the Nanabi will be resurrected almost a century from now. Kurama, who we will refer to as the Kyuubi, provided us with this information. There was a collective nod. Kit, I'm surprised you don't plan on telling Jiraiya, either. No one will ever learn about it. Not even the coalition. Gigi doesn't know the only other thing that I do. And that is how the space-time barrier can actually be waived. There's no use in telling him because he wouldn't be able to make the exception anyhow. Why not? Hinata inquired. Because his blood must admix with theirs. He is unable to do so for that reason alone. Only two can now permit exceptions. His son and Naruto, in relation to. Before turning to face Fu, Naruto said, we'll honor Chomei's last wish. Even on your deathbed, you said that I could still name our son. If I'm still able to. Fu said, I'm all for it. Naruto and Hinata nodded. Go tell them the name we came up with, Hinata, but don't tell them where the idea originated. It was a random thought that occurred to me when they asked. It's true in a sense. The idea originated from someone who happened to show up at any time, Naruto said, receiving a nod. I'm going to leave. Avoid getting her pregnant once more. If I wanted to, I couldn't get pregnant, but Fu said, no worries there. Hinata nodded and walked away, saying, I no longer have a physical body. Naruto sighed and turned to face Fu. I must give you a tour of the area. You'll be residing here going forward. You're not talking about in here, are you? She said, catching Naruto's eyebrow raise. I don't think a sewer would. I apologize. He shook his head. For the presumption? I constantly understand it? That's an understatement. Stop talking. They both yelled at the same time, and afterward, they both blushed a little. Kabutomushi realm. I have a name, Hinata said, emerging from her reverie to glance at the others. Shomei Uzumaki. The Kabutomushi all widened their eyes at this. What caused that one? Sasuke inquired. Hinata responded, he said it was a thought that came randomly. Not even the Kabutomushi picked up on the tiniest hint of dishonesty. Are you certain about that, Lady Hinata? The Kitsune inquired. Kitsuno nodded, sensing that he was telling the truth, but Spyro wasn't persuaded. That's what he said, and, as far as I know, it could easily be the truth, Kitsuno. Are you concealing anything else? Did he ask? Like what? She inquired. You're telling the truth, Spyro said, staring directly into her eyes. That much is for sure. You are still keeping something from us, though. The coalition. Why? Spyro. Sasuke yelled. Sasuke, I know that you saw she's hiding something. It has to do with Naruto and Kyuubi, too, Sasuke said, adding, I know that, but there's obviously a reason for it. It is highly probable that both Fu and the Nanabi are also involved. She has chosen to tell us. Or, if he knows, Naruto's. We should allow them to remain silent on the subject if they choose not to speak. You're also interested in it. There is a thin line between sating curiosity and betraying a friend or ally, he said, adding, I know. You are on the side of betrayal if you attempt to coerce either of them. You will not be allowed to use the dragon summons again. If you do, that's the best outcome. For me, you are the typical summon. You know that's not easy, so I'd have to pick another one. He glared at the Kitsune while everyone else stared at him. What? And there are always surprises. You still have Kidodo's suspicions, but this, I'm at a loss for words. Kitsuno shook his head. It may surprise you, Lady Hinata, but Sasuke Uchiha has gained my admiration. I'm out, she said, nodding. I detest traitors. Why are you staring at me? Spyro asked, turning to face Sasuke, who was now looking at him. If you turn traitor in this manner, Lord Felgrand will be informed. Sasuke cautioned him. He's going to be aware of this, that much is certain. I hope he's forgiving. Spyro looked at Hinata as he departed in smoke, saying, I know I am. I apologize for that. I simply detest it when people keep things from me and I lose my temper. He sighed and said, I was named after my great-grandfather. I'll tell you something no one else knows as a way to say I'm sorry. I was named after him because I resembled him almost exactly, even though he passed away long before I was born. There is just one scale that differs. He displayed it, saying, the rest of them are the typical rounded shape. It was off in shape only, at the base of my tail. One end of this one is cornered into 7 directions, and the other end is rounded into the skin. Few people are aware of that distinction. My mother was the only one who was aware of it, and she carried that secret into eternity. Hinata glared at him and said, You're forgiven. She saw sadness and eternal regret in his eyes. Just don't do it again. With a nod, he departed in smoke. The day prior to the championship game. The gate guards, whom Naruto instantly recognized, saw Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata enter the village through the main gate. Hey, Naruto. It's about time you returned. I'll venture a guess. Naruto half-asked, the Hokage wants to see me. One of them began, actually, before Kakashi showed up. Naruto. I never got an answer about it. How many people were aware? Naruto inquired. Just myself and Kurenai. Others are aware that we placed a wager, but whenever someone inquires, we respond that it is not our place to discuss it, Kakashi acknowledged. With a sigh, Naruto turned to face Sasuke and said, Do you recall what we talked about? Kitsune has it already. Sasuke answered, That's what they said, at least. Just summon Kitsuki, and she'll give it to you. I can vouch for that. Hinata continued, They said Kitsuki would have it as soon as I left. Naruto shunshined off into flames after saying, Got it. And then kissing her cheek. See you at home. Why didn't he? She sighed. He won't do that. Iruka? Sasuke inquired. Who knows? She answered. He does. Point taken. Is there any possibility of an explanation? Kakashi asked. They both shook their heads. Figures. Anyway, the Hokage, Sasuke, wanted to see you. With a sigh, he said, Anything else? Kurenai and Anko appeared as soon as he finished saying, Nothing really, although Kurenai may try to find Hinata to figure it out. All right, where are they? Both of them inquired. Naruto, I'm not sure, and figure it's best I don't know. As for Fu, she's still in hiding, replied Hinata. How about the other one? Kurenai inquired. With a sigh, Hinata placed 2 fingers on Kurenai's head and paused to think. Kurenai, please don't freak out, she said. I will not attack you in this manner. Why am I hearing Hinata's voice in my head? What's going on? Head. I'm temporarily establishing a telepathic link with my fingers. The wager that you and Kakashi Sensei made is already known to me. He is currently staying with the Kabutomushi and is a boy. In actuality, Fu is now dead. Please tell me you burnt the body. No, she was laid to rest. We can't tell anyone, though. She is officially in hiding. Just be aware that it's a boy. Name. His name is Chomei Uzumaki, and Hinata, I could have sworn we told you not to tell anyone. Even though I have just as much faith in her as I do in Naruto? Oh, what's the reason behind that? Because I already have a feeling he's doing something against some rule somewhere, yet I'm not going to explore, knowing he has a reason. Hinata, what do you mean? However, Kyuubi, I do have a question. No matter what he's doing, does Iruka Sensei have anything to do with it? What's the point of telling you? I could murder him, he won't back down easily. And why do you think I think you'll, whatever it is, what is it? If Hiruzen is still alive, tell Iruka to report straight to the Hokage's office following the finals. Otherwise, he will speak with him later. Noted. Is he treating Enko the same way, Kyuubi? Kurenai inquired. Are you still there? Why wouldn't I be? She's in it already. It took place while they were waiting for the second exam. When he did, Lee and Gaara were close to his shadow clone. You mean? The exception has already been granted to her. All she needs is the address. Although we are aware of her hatred for the council, Chomei's identity is kept a secret. Not until the general public accepts Naruto, or his ancestry is exposed. In the midst of the Chunin exams, he will disclose it. If he doesn't forfeit, he will reveal it to his first opponent. Otherwise, he'll do so at the second one. If Sasuke shows up at all, he will be late. He is with a summons representative if he doesn't. Are you certain about this? They discussed something. I didn't understand it either, so don't ask. Oh, do you think I'll believe that? Hinata inquired. Not by any means. Actually, in your situation, I wouldn't believe it. Nevertheless, it's the truth. Kurenai and Hinata remained silent at that point. I rest my case. In any case, I'm leaving. Kurenai, remember what I said. Hinata took her fingers off her head and nodded before turning to face Kakashi. I'll be at the bookstore. Kakashi gave her a suspicious look and said, all I will say is one word. Result. I don't believe it. I actually got Kurenai to read Icha Icha. I'm still going to finish the book she gave me. It's not Icha Icha, but it's still good, he thought, his eyes widening. You mean? She nodded. I actually have every edition to date. Nothing more has been released since we received Genin teams, as far as I'm aware, and I last read any of them after that. I didn't discard them. I said I would get them myself, and I will, Kurenai said, shaking her head. Hokage's workspace 3 Anbu surrounded Sasuke, who was standing in front of Sarutobi in the office. Lord Hokage? One of them said, Sasuke Uchiha, you are to be detained for desertion. Anbu, get down. Ordered by Sarutobi, but sir, He reaffirmed, the council has no hold over him. Neither Homura nor Kaharu have any good reason to do so either. Therefore, I will not permit the unjustified detention of one of my shinobi. The grounds indicated desertion. He was just practicing in a location that is only accessible by him. Let him go now. The Anbu retreated but stayed put as he yelled, Sasuke, even though I already know where you are, why didn't you bring anyone with you? There was really nothing I could do about it. Soon after the preliminary round, they took me up. There was nothing I could do. And why did you not send a message? I figured that Naruto would have sent word about all of us. Sarutobi said, and he did before he left. I think Tsunade has come back, too. Sasuke said, I heard it while I was out. From the slugs? Dragons heard it from Kitsune, said Sasuke, shaking his head. Phoenix told Kitsune about it. Slugs told it to Phoenix. In any case, this was also to prevent Orochimaru from locating me. We'll be better off if fewer people knew where I was. I don't currently have a curse mark. But something else is there to stop him from putting one right now, he said, exposing his neck. I am able to do this and more because of my training. Over the next 48 hours, you'll see a few more things I've learned in the last month. What else is there? Did you discover anything else? I will not be leaving the village unless Naruto Uzumaki leaves first, as I would be accompanying him, if this is because I am a flight risk. Even you, as the Hokage, could not pay him what my clan owes him. I have to assist him in order to pay off the debt. The Anbu stiffened. How precisely did your clan harm him? We'll see. Everyone's eyes widened as he said, I allowed more than 600 mobs to attack him before he was 5 years old, helped eradicate the Uzumaki clan 30 years ago, and also assisted with the Namikaze clan 40 years ago. The Sandaime Mizukage suggested the bloodline massacres, and those are just the major ones. To be honest, I'm sickened by the records I found. While some of these records have been preserved, others have not. I'll take you to where there if you want to see them. Bring them here. If I could, I would. They will burn to ashes if they leave the room where they are. That's the only explanation for why some of them are currently broken. Everything in that room must remain there or it will burn. It was strange because I thought the sword I found inside would melt in the fire, but when I tried to remove it, it burned to ashes. But I believe you understand what I'm saying. Sasuke reiterated, it would probably be a good idea to leave them at the entrance if you want an ANBU, because my clan owes him, so I owe him. I'm not taking any chances because of what happened to the papers and the sword, and one of the documents in there made it so the Hokage's Anbu would perish if they entered the room. The Anbu tensed, and Sarutobi stood up and nodded, saying, show me. Southwest corner of the Uchiha estate. Sasuke and Sarutobi departed in Flame and Leaf Shunshin, respectively, with the Anbu following shortly after. Uchiha estate standing above a trapdoor were Sasuke, Sarutobi, and 3 Anbu. I'm afraid that this is about as far as the Anbu can go, Sasuke said. I know that the papers are burned in this exact passage, but I'm not sure where it would attempt to kill them. It's brief. Most likely 20 meters. By the halfway point, they're always burned. Really, that's all I have to say. Since it said Anbu, I can presume that anyone who was a member of the Anbu prior to the massacre is aware of it. Of course, I haven't updated it. I'm not sure how to. The other two weren't taking the chance, so Sasuke and Sarutobi entered first, then one of the Anbu. Halfway through, Sasuke turned to see the Anbu choking. No, Sarutobi was taken aback but remained where he was when he ran to the Anbu and used a shunshin to get him out of there. The Anbu checked the man's pulse and said, "Good, he's still alive." He looked at the other two and said, "I could have sworn I warned him about that." Sasuke appeared outside with what appeared to be the Anbu that went in. The Hokage has no trouble getting through. So far, he has not encountered any issues. Sasuke nodded and entered after the Anbu gave him a suspicious look. He better make it out alive. Whatever became of him? Sarutobi said. As Sasuke acknowledged, I checked his pulse, and he is alive. He came in, and it would seem as though it would have been a strangled death. I left the other two Anbu with him. The Anbu that entered, I assume, clearly doesn't trust me. I'm still working on everything regarding non-biased Anbu, sighed Sarutobi. Because of the Kyuubi, that one also despises Naruto, and I'm sure you already know that. I've got a lot of work to go through, Sasuke said, nodding before they reached a door, opened it, and he used his Sharingan before they entered together. I'm mainly showing you this because I feel like it should be known why the Uchiha massacre happened. Why do you want people to be against you right now? Consider it. Because I escaped Itachi's wrath, they put me on a pedestal. That is their belief. In actuality, he was unable to murder me. He valued me more than the village and the clan, not because he felt guilty about it. The Mangekyo Sharingan is another. We would fight if I had to activate it. He intended for the two of us to engage in combat with the Mangekyo, with the victor taking the loser's eyes and implanting them in themselves. They will receive the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan as a result. Now that I know the truth, that isn't going to happen. Danzo has passed away. Kaharu and Homura are fortunate that I'm not pursuing them as well. I would be happy if you did, however, the council would not approve of it. Raising an eyebrow, Sasuke said, and that's the only reason I haven't gone after them. As long as I'm on the council's good side and Naruto is in my care, he'll be safe. Because I'm gone if he's gone. Both he and I are pushed out. The Sharingan is what they desire. If Naruto is absent, they won't receive it. Additionally, I suspect Hinata will depart as well. Observing his scheme, Sarutobi grinned and said, taking advantage of their desire for power? Naturally. They say it takes one to know one, Sasuke said. That's the path I've taken, and I left it because of him. He contributed to illuminating the topic. 2 of the 5 favors the village owes him are totally disregarded. The other 3 are unknown to them. After glancing at him, Sarutobi sighed, it appears that I have a great deal more work ahead of me, if I don't make it through this. Naruto and I will have Suzaku revive you if you don't, just so we can beat you up ourselves. Our plans were developed with the express purpose of safeguarding Naruto's loved ones. Sasuke said, thank goodness, you're on that list, and was nodded. Then let's get started. The following day, arena. Yugo Uzuki was once again in front of the finalists. Welcome to the finals, he said. Now's your moment to shine. Don't mess it up. When Naruto turned to look around, he saw that Sasuke was missing. What about Sasuke, Proctor? If he's not here by his match, then he won't be allowed to fight, much less get promoted, replied Yugo. Cage's box the K's Cage approached Sarutobi, who was waiting with Jiraiya and Tsunade by his side. Ah, Lord Hokage. It is pleasant to see you once more. Sarutobi said, likewise, Lord K's Cage. The Chunin exams being held here is a good thing. I doubt that you would be able to visit my village. Oh, please. I have a few more years to go, Sarutobi smiled in response. I suspect you'll require assistance at some point. Maybe you ought to locate a successor. I plan on taking my job to the grave if my first choice isn't of political standing by that point. A woman with auburn red hair and a voluptuous body that nearly caused Sarutobi to get a nosebleed approached them. Jiraiya remarked, who's the hottie, sensei? Hello, Hokage, Lord. K's Cage, Lord. My name is Mei Terumi, the Godem Mizukage, she said. The group thought, this girl is the Mizukage. Naruto sent a clone up there after spotting the presents from the cage's box. Hey, Mei. What's breaking? He uttered those words. Naruto. What are you? Thank you for letting me know of your participation in these exams, Sir Uzumaki. I was hoping for a little something anyway. Perhaps it has something to. Naruto pouted and said, besides, I'm already taken. It has nothing to do with you, me, and a bed. And the issue we discussed? May kept pouting before pulling on her serious expression. The good ones are always taken. I've been putting some effort into it. Keep in mind that there is much more going on than most people realize. May said, that's an understatement, you ought to leave now. The Kazekage said, Sasuke Uchiha isn't here yet. He will forfeit if he does not show up for his match. There are no exceptions, Sarutobi said, adding that anyone who placed a wager on the Uchiha winning would lose their money. Surprisingly, Naruto Uzumaki, Hinata Hyuga, and Sabaku no Gaara are my tournament favorites. Why also my son? I see potential that has been wasted, but can still be reached. I understand what you mean, May said, glancing at the competitors. The way to go is not bloodthirsty. He would be much better than he is now if he weren't bloodthirsty. I'm afraid that he wouldn't do much good otherwise. Well, the finals are about to begin. Sarutobi stood up and made his way to the front, recalling a discussion with Naruto. Author's style. Jutsu without flashback. In the Hokage office, Naruto and Sarutobi first met. What would you like to discuss? The championship game. I want you to make my heritage public before you start them. Make sure everyone in the village is aware of it and able to hear it. My parents should be made public, but nothing about the Kyuubi should be. Why at this time? I believe Kankuro will forfeit because of this. I clearly recall that my father easily defeated a lot of Suna ninja as well as Iwa ninja, so if he does this, he will look foolish. I understand what you're saying. Why make him fight, though? Well, to start by exposing his puppet's vulnerabilities. If he attacks, more will come to light. And then there's the fact that I'll destroy his puppets once I've revealed enough. Although he is a master of puppetry, he lacks genjutsu, taijutsu, and short-range attacks. He won't be able to take part in the invasion when it occurs once his puppets are gone. He wouldn't be able to work for our side if he so chose. The confirmation is already in my possession. He will not be employed by either party. He doesn't know what's happening, but I'll make the decision for him if he is unable to. Excellent. I'll do that. Flashback ending no jutsu is the author's style. I would like to make an announcement before we start these exams. Our Yondaime Hokage passed away 12 years ago without leaving a noteworthy heir. But that wasn't the reality. On the day of his death, he had only one heir. On that day, he and his spouse, yes, he was married, had a single child. A son. That son is actually Naruto Uzumaki. This made people yell, WTF, HFS, and the well-known question, how could that demon be our Yondaime's child? Through the bleachers. He resembles the Yondaime at his age almost exactly, if any of you were paying attention. To be honest, I've grown weary of you all being oblivious to your own conceit and hatred. As a result, I am telling you about this now. The Red Death and heiress of Whirlpool Country, Kushina Uzumaki, Minato Namikaze, Yellow Flash, and our Yondaime Hokage are all the parents of Naruto Uzumaki. I had originally intended to keep it out of the loop until he became Junin, but at this point, it is irrelevant because he has already discovered his inheritance and is aware of it. That is just like Minato to do something like that. Using his own son for a Jinchuriki. Exclaimed the Kazekage, who showed no outward signs of reaction but was fuming inside. Everyone looked at him much more closely, ignoring the whisker marks for this. You are fortunate that he wants to defend our village himself rather than destroying it like anyone else who might have been in his shoes. Before regaining his cheerful demeanor, Sarutobi yelled, enjoy the matches for the last portion of the Chunin exams. Naruto turned to Kankuro down in the arena and said, hey Catman. You are aware that your own village will view you as a coward if you give up now, aren't you? He set this up. Kankuro fainted at the implications. Uzumaki, you're a fun one, Gaara grinned to himself. Sasuke was still missing, but he was watching the whole thing, and everyone else, except Hinata, Kakashi, and the Sannin, was surprised that Naruto came from such a lineage. Naruto, that is one cunning idea. The question is, did you work on the Hiraishin? A random Anbu observed with an unseen smirk. Asuma started off by saying, Kakashi, what happened to Sasuke? Kurenai, Anko, Iruka, and Kakashi were all seated together. He claimed to have other matters to attend to, but when I inquired, he responded that it was classified. When I went to the Hokage, he told me that I would be better off not knowing. Above the Anbu classification level. For this, being a former Anbu captain is insufficient, he said. When did this occur? Iruka inquired. Last night, was the response. As to whether it will make him late is beyond me. Kurenai glanced at one particular Anbu and asked, So why does Anbu appear to share Sasuke's chakra signature? Kakashi turned to face the Anbu. Kakashi paled at the thought, but shook it off, saying, I hope that Orochimaru hadn't found him. If he didn't, then nowhere is safe from the snake. She has a point, but something else is off. That one has a chakra source that Sasuke doesn't have. It's one I don't recognize either. After glancing at the Junin and shaking his head slightly, the Anbu opened a link with Kakashi, saying, Kakashi, I know you already figured out who I am. There is only one aspect of your theory that is incorrect. Orochimaru did not give me the extra chakra, but it will deter him if he uses his curse mark to target me. And the Hokage already knows that I will not be taking part. No announcement has been made. Our goal is to get Gaara and Naruto to fight. The signal was to be given while I was fighting. They must alter the signal to attack if I don't fight. What are you doing, Sasuke? Kakashi gave the Anbu a narrowed look. This is all part of the plan, so don't worry. All you need to know is that. Does the book contain it? Page 922. Kakashi then took the book out of his pouch and saw what he was referring to. Now, alter the first 3 steps to enable a large-scale death prank run in the Naruto fashion. Mentally, Sasuke told him, you've got it down. Kurenai saw what was happening and took notice of the book. Kakashi, which one are you looking at? He showed it to her, Asuma, Iruka, and Anko, who all stared at it bewildered with the exception of Iruka. This one right here. Iruka said, that has Naruto written all over it. You see what it is, right? Because I don't, Asuma inquired. Why did you glance at it? Iruka inquired. Do you see these first 3 steps? Picture that as a wide-scale death prank run, Naruto style, said Iruka, nodding. Iruka said in a terrified tone, don't tell me that. That would mean epic level chaos. If he's going for that, I don't think anything else will be around to live to tell about, Kakashi said. Where will he put it to use? Anko inquired. Kakashi acknowledged, I have no idea. If I were you, though, I'd avoid the place entirely. In the arena, Kankuro turned to face Naruto and said, look, kid, I don't want to see you. However, it appears that I have no option if I wish to maintain my dignity in light of this announcement. Try your hardest. As Kankuro unwrapped his puppet, Naruto remarked, not like it will help you. Naruto confronted the poison gas bomb that was automatically hurled at him. Hey, he made no attempt to avoid it. A poison of B class. Compared to what I took when I was 6, that is weak. Before the gas dispersed, he said, I'm already immune to it, and anything below it. In fact, that wasn't even half the strength of the poison I took that day without knowing it. Senbon, more poison smoke bombs, and a collection of knives were present. Naruto continued to dodge, not caring about the smoke because it wouldn't hurt him anyhow. Kid, why are you just dodging? You must understand that you're doing nothing but exposing every component of his puppet. As the smoke cleared, Naruto said, now I'm going to the offensive. Kankuro had run out of weapons, with the exception of the melee ones on Crow. I'm shocked that you were able to avoid every weapon and that you were impervious to every poison that I had at my disposal. What? Dodging is what you specialize in, right? No, before he was ensnared in a flaming vortex, he said, what I was working on is this. Naruto looked up and said, no, but no one, not even Kankuro, saw him when the vortex vanished. Mei was looking around the arena. What's going on, Lord Hokage? His whole being vanished from the arena. The Cage said, I agree, Lord Hokage. I'm also perplexed by what transpired. He looked up in disbelief and said, I'm afraid that I don't have an answer for. No way. What is it? Mei inquired, then noticed and followed his gaze. In the air. The only person in the sky was a man, of course, and he was wearing burnt orange armor, which resembled a humanoid falcon, on the torso, with a burnt orange glove covering the right arm and 3-inch claws. The left arm had the Omega Buster, in a burnt orange color, exactly where Naruto would wear it without anything else, and the right arm had a burnt orange glove with 18 feathers that appeared to be made of flames. Behind him, 6 tails are flowing and waving in mild annoyance. The visor was shadowed out and dark sea green in color. Like a fox, the feet had claws that were 6 inches long. The helmet appeared to be a dark red version of a lion's mane. 10 containers, arranged in 2 rows of 5, were also emerging from his left elbow as he was leaving. 8 of them were filled with dark red energy, and 2 were filled with blue energy. There was a symbol above the face and on the chest. There's the standard Uzumaki spiral, which is typically found on Naruto's orange jumpsuit's left shoulder. An X-shaped 3 Pronged kunai with handles pointing from the upper right and upper left is located inside the spiral. Deep cerulean eyes were visible through the gleam along the visor. It appears to have worked. However, why'd I already have 6 tails? It might have something to do with you already gaining 6 tails worth of my Yuki converted to your own. Maybe it has to deal with the fact you charged enough Yuki and Chakra to create a Rokubi level Amari. I'm not entirely sure. Alright, let's get this done, Naruto said in his head. Down in the arena, Sarutobi, the Cage, and Mei were attempting to decipher Naruto's extremely challenging form. They were only able to observe the tiny quantity of chakra in the sky. With curiosity, Mei questioned, "What is going on up there? He doesn't seem to realize that this is already getting me wet." "Yes, I am, Mei." Mei almost let out a gasp. "Are you reading my mind, Naruto?" "Nope. It's a mind link. Remember that armor I told you about?" "What about it? It's out. You're kidding me. I'm going to fire 3 shots. After that, Kankuro will either be dead or out cold." Naruto stated to her. "Tell Sarutobi this. Kankuro has lost." "Lord Hokage, it appears as if your successor's son has won this one," she said. "Why is that? I give Kankuro 2 shots from that arm cannon he has, and he's out of it. 3 if he's lucky." The Cage said, "I wouldn't count him out just yet." According to Sarutobi, "Wait a minute. How can you tell he has that Omega Buster of his out?" "Mei, I heard what he said, and I'll be honest with you here. Just say it was speculation. Or flat out tell them you've got a mental link active with me." Mei answered, "Mental link. So, I figured he knew you somehow. Now, how do you know him well enough to have a mental link?" Mei acknowledged, "Beats me. I think it's only temporary." At this moment, a giant flaming bird descended from the sky and burst into flames inside the ring. The majority of it was avoided by Kankuro, but not by his puppet, Crow. Mei counted in her mind. 1. Mei saw the green hue before it split into 19 green flaming dragons, even though the flaming dragon was coming from a different direction than the bird. Kankuro was struck multiple times, and it struck almost every spot in the arena. Looking at Kankuro, Naruto descended into view just above the arena. He pointed his left arm at Kankuro and said, "Give up now. You've survived 2 shots so far. You're barely conscious as it is. It's either that or take 1 more shot, and have a much lower chance of survival." He said, "Do your best." "I failed, Crow." On the visor, Naruto noticed crosshairs that were aimed directly between Kankuro's feet. It struck dead center when he fired. Kankuro was rendered unconscious when the ensuing explosion sent him flying into a wall. Naruto landed in the arena's middle. Yugo emerged from hiding and turned to face Naruto. "He's unconscious, but not dead. Yet. Call the match," he replied. "Winner." Naruto Uzumaki. With flames all around him, Naruto vanished. Mei, Sarutobi, and the Cage gazed in disbelief at the arena. "So that's the armor. That's just highly impressive. I doubt that Snow Country would be able to match it with their chakra armor," the Cage said. Mei shot him a stern look as she said, "Forget it, Lord Cage. I doubt that your ninja could use it effectively anyway. Something tells me that he's been working on that, and only he has the blueprints. There's bound to be something that only he can use with it." Without the suit, Naruto emerged before them. "So, Gigi, what do you think of the armor? How did you even come up with it? I'm not going to reveal its specifics to another Cage. No offense, Mei, but this is actually a clan secret. I had to combine well over 40 projects, just to create this one." Sarutobi's eyes widened in surprise. "And then some of my own ideas went into the design as well." "My god," said Sarutobi. The Cage questioned, "Lord Hokage, are you really afraid of him? A genin?" "This genin managed to outrun Anbu as an academy student." Naruto continued, "Ah yes. Those were the good old days. Even Chunin have trouble with that. Anyway, do you have any idea where Sasuke is? His match is next." Sarutobi said, "He hasn't arrived, so we must disqualify him. Those are the rules. I was actually looking forward to his match, too." The Cage said, "Perhaps we can postpone his match. The rules clearly state that if a participant is not present for their match, they're disqualified. There are no exceptions," Sarutobi said. "Even though you wanted to see him fight as well? Especially then. I cannot play favorites with anyone. Surely, you understand the political effects there. Sasuke Uchiha is disqualified. Jiraiya. He departed in a shunshin, saying, 'On it.'" Naruto remarked, "Wise choice, Lord Hokage. Make more of those, and you'll do much better than you were before all this," He then vomited. Mei grinned to herself. You're insane, Naruto. I enjoy it. She blushed a little as Naruto told her in her mind, I am to please, Mei-chan. Even in the bed. Already got one child. The mother loved how I did that well, regardless of it being when I was piss poor drunk. How did you manage to do that? Mei had a little nosebleed. Let's see. I was drunk. She was a Jinchuriki in heat. You do the math. But Sarutobi took notice. He said, naughty thoughts, Lady Mizukage. Not yet at least. No. 9 hours of it all, and watching it from my mindscape after the fact, Naruto continued. Then, like a rocket, the nosebleed erupted, propelling her to the roof above them. The Kazekage and Sarutobi stood up and turned to face her. Do you think she is okay, Lord Hokage? He answered, she'll be fine. I get the same way when Naruto uses what I call his cage killer. Cage killer? Something he and I both agreed to classify as an SS rank Kenjutsu, along with its counterparts. I will be completely honest here. If he uses it, and you have the slightest hint of perversion, you will pass out due to blood loss. He has won a match with several Junin using it. One of them never woke up. And to think that he could use it to help out with an academy-level jutsu. The Kazekage said, I'm afraid I'll have to ignore all formalities for this. That's fucked up. Sarutobi said, we are in agreement there. Mei awoke shortly after, blonde Gaki, putting images in my head. I'll have to get him back for that, she thought quietly. Sarutobi managed to catch it. She glanced at him and said, ah, he put something in your head, didn't he? If you want to get him back, I'd severely advise you not to. She arched an eyebrow in response. And why not? The last one to try was never found. The rumors that went around are crazy, but no one knows what truly happened. The investigation went cold. We can only assume that someone, or something, took him out, and got rid of any evidence of his body. Naruto then showed up. You talking about the last one to go after me for some oddball reason? Behind him, Naruto caught Sarutobi's attention, so you know what truly happened? I wish. Some girl named Suzaku took him out. After that, I have no idea what happened. Naruto sighed, didn't bother to look for answers. So this Suzaku would know what happened, Mei responded. Naruto skillfully lied when he said, that'd be about right. I'm not even aware of where she is at the moment. Anyway, Hinata already beat Dosu. I love my reverse sound barrier. How do you think my shadow clones could take the Haruno screech? As they made their way back to their seats, Mei questioned, Haruno screech? Pray that you never experience it. Some say they would rather face an actual banshee over a screeching Haruno. I've seen both, and can honestly say that the banshee is actually better than a Haruno on your ears, Naruto said. He poofed out after saying, anyway, I'll be taking a nap. Mei started to perspire. Why would he take a nap at this juncture? She inquired. The next match has a Nara in it. Shikamaru Nara, and Tamari. Another air against air match. The Kazekage said, Tamari is far better at analysis than most think. Sarutobi said, then we're in for a long match. As anticipated, it took 4 hours to complete, during which Shikamaru gave up. Tamari was taken aback and given 10 minutes to recover before confronting Shino. Since she knew she would lose anyhow, she forfeited her match against him. 10 minutes wasn't long enough. Semi-finals. Naruto, Gaara, Hinata, and Shino. Mei said, not my choices, but not surprising. Still, I'm wondering where the Uchiha is. Sarutobi said, no one is sure to be honest. The Kazekage said, few would like the fact he was not allowed to participate. Where on earth is he? This should not have resulted in his expulsion. He would have been saved by his clan name. In the ring, Naruto and Gaara exchanged glances. Ready? Naruto replied, not quite. What do you say to a relocation, Gaara? What did you have in mind? The forests to the south. I'll send up a beacon that will allow the others to watch us without the risk of dying if it gets too rough. I'm game. More room, more destruction, more intent to kill. He yelled. He departed in a sand shunshin, saying, I will see you there, Uzumaki. Naruto hurled a giant flame into the air, creating an orb that displayed the forest, and charged Chakra into his hand. The moment I get there, I'll start the match myself. Proctor, I believe you should stay here as well. This match will go on until one of us is either dead or unconscious. Yugao nodded as Naruto disappeared. Forest Gaara was staring at Naruto as he stood on a branch. Uzumaki. Gaara. I will win, they both exclaimed at once. Hajime. Naruto made hand gestures as he charged directly at him. Sacred Flame. Grand Fireball Jutsu. Gaara avoided a green flame Grand Fireball Jutsu that was aimed directly at her. That element. Mother is afraid of it. Of course she would be. It's the sacred flame of the Uzumaki clan. It's especially harmful to demons, and the like. Jinchuriki that rely on their Biju will be rendered useless when their opponent has this element. Naruto said. What's more is, it's a bloodline. One that you can't acquire from possessing a body. You need more than the blood for this element. You need the actual soul. A Yamanaka could possess my body, but they wouldn't be able to use the sacred flame, even if they knew how to use it. Without the soul of an Uzumaki, the element is useless. Gaara yelled, you will need more than that to take me down, Uzumaki, before his right arm began to change and shape itself in the sand. Uzumaki. You will die, Sand Shuriken. Naruto easily avoided them. He charged a lot of chakra and made one hand sign, saying, if you're after my head, then you've got a long way to go with that kind of aim. Multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu. Around 1,500 Narutos appeared out of nowhere. Yo Enko. Find the PA system, and hit play. Back at the arena after hearing this, Enko stood up and executed a shunshin. Haruka inquired, what's going to play? Kakashi said, I have no idea. Then Enko emerged in a multi-paneled room. Let's see. Oh, look here. She pressed a button. A.N. At this point, Drowning Pool's song, Bodies, starts playing. Go to YouTube and play it. The forest the music reached Naruto's ears. Allow the corpses to fall to the ground. Allow the corpses to fall to the ground. Allow the corpses to fall to the ground. Allow the corpses to strike thee at that moment. He charged Gaara and shouted. A fast-paced taijutsu battle ensued between them. 1,500 Narutos against a half. Covered Gaara. It fell to roughly 300 Narutos before they withdrew. As the music played, Naruto uttered, 1, nothing wrong with me. Then Gaara spread sand over the rest of his body. 2, something's got to give. Naruto yelled, let the bodies hit the floor, as Gaara transformed into Shukaku in its entirety, banished all of his clones, and put on his armor. It said, summoning jutsu. 3 puffs of smoke appeared. Arena everyone was paying close attention to the fight. As Anko returned, Kakashi watched. What did I miss? Oh, nothing much. Just Naruto forcing Gaara to revert to a full Shukaku transformation. Kakashi responded. Kurenai yelled, you call that nothing? He'll die. The response was, not likely. Remember, he has the sacred flame. Only 3 Uzumaki are recorded to have had it, and he's the 3rd. Kurenai snarled, but Hinata materialized at her side. Kurenai, let it go. He'll be fine. But Hinata. She informed them, he has a plan. With Naruto was standing on top of a 9-tailed giant fox. Beside the fox was a giant toad. Finally, above them both, there was a gigantic flaming bird. As he took off, he exclaimed, Suzaku, Gamabunta, Kurama. Let's do this. Right. Was the summons' simultaneous exclamation. Phoenix style. Grand flame. Suzaku screamed before Shukaku hurled several sand shuriken in their direction. 3 tails opened fire on Shukaku as Kurama yelled, Kitsune style. Foxfire, before leaping forward with a claw. 3 against 1. No fair. Moaned Shukaku. Gamabunta leapt to his feet and yelled. Sweeten. Liquid bullet. As Shukaku was charged by 2 giant water bullets. Kurama used his tail to pin Shukaku's arms after biting his tail. Now Kit. Naruto exclaimed, right, and then doused himself in green flames. Like the Inuzuka clan spins for their fang over fang, he charged Shukaku and yelled, Sacred Flame, Sacred Flaming Rocket, for him. Arena surprised. Sume Inuzuka became enraged. There's no way. Kiba whistled as she glanced at him. He got that idea from watching me train. I'm calling a bullshit moment. You knew about his? Not really. Sakura called their attention to the fact that he probably is just using it for added piercing ability. With the rotation provided, it's more like a flaming drill. With Naruto with the backdraft doing more damage, Naruto proceeded directly through Shukaku's upper torso, leaving a spiraling trail of flames in his wake. Naruto landed atop a tree and exclaimed, no, I won't lose here, before turning around and pointing the Omega Buster at him. With wind rushing around the barrel's tip, he said, Shukaku. Say hi to Chome for me, everyone. Gamabunta leapt up and kicked Shukaku even higher after Kurama bit his neck and threw him into the air. Suzaku transformed into a snake, wrapped itself around Shukaku's head, and yanked Gaara away from the body before hurling it even higher. Suzaku with Gaara in tow retreated as Naruto aimed the Omega Buster at Shukaku's body. Then he yelled, "Be sure to say hello to my parents and the mother you impersonated. Sacred Flame. Nanabiko Amari." And aimed a purple beam engulfed in green flames at him. The blast destroyed the Shukaku's body entirely. Gaara was placed on Gamabunta's head by Suzaku, who descended. As Naruto landed on his head and examined him, the toad questioned, "He's still alive?" "He was not conscious." "Yeah. He's alive. I give him 2 days, and he'll be fine. It'll take at least a week for Shukaku to recover from that, though." "Kurama, Gamabunta. You're dismissed. Suzaku, we'll be taking you back to the arena." As Gaara and Naruto were on Suzaku's back, they all said, "Right." Gamabunta and Kurama poofed out. Arena everyone, including the cage, watched in disbelief. Sarutobi was the first to speak. "If he doesn't get Chunin, I don't know what will happen. Even our Yondaime died facing the Kyuubi, but Naruto." Mei went on in a low voice, "He took on the Ichibi, and knocked him out." The cage was clearly incensed. "Why didn't I know about this? When I get my hands on Kabuto, he's going to hear this a lot. Well, whatever. I'm going to do it now. Lord Hokage, I see why you were afraid of him. I must admit that he's extremely powerful." Sarutobi said, "And his power is his own. He got this way in a mere few months, not even a year of training, when everyone else tried to stunt his progress. If he got what he needed from the start, he would have already taken my hat from me a year ago. However, at this point, that does not matter, for he is far beyond what anyone would expect of him. This is the first Chunin exams since his graduation day, and still, he is this powerful. If he obstructs the path, he'll spit me out after chewing me up." Immediately after a smoke bomb detonated, one Anbu arrived, blazing the cage with black flames before brandishing a stone blade. With Mei dressed in her typical combat attire and Sarutobi in full battle armor, the Anbu formed a delta formation around Orochimaru. The Anbu was malfunctioning. Before long, the mask followed the cloak as it flew. Sasuke Uchiha was identified as the Anbu. Orochimaru said, "You allowed the Uchiha to pretend to be an Anbu? Sarutobi, you are a fool." Sasuke said, "No, Orochimaru. You are the fool." He tore off the rest of his clothes to reveal a dragon like body armor, saying, "You will never have my body as your vessel. You will never be able to mark me." 1. Lord Hokage. Remind me to thank Naruto for the new armor. You sure that armor will help? It looks like it will restrict you. As it spread to cover his entire body and then caused 2 bat-like wings to emerge from his shoulder blades, Sasuke said, "You just haven't seen it in action." He changed into a real dragon with scales and wings. Meet the dragon summoning sage mode. Something you will never accomplish. For you are aligned with the snake summonings. The dragons will never accept you. The dragons hate the snakes, as they will betray anyone that doesn't suit their needs. Even your advanced Sound 4, which are currently burning to a crisp due to my Amaterasu. You can tell Danzo in the afterlife that he was a fool. Just like you. A small, golden, blonde, 6-tailed fox showed up nearby. "Sasuke, what are you doing?" "I am merely showing the snake bastard a thing or two. Care to join me?" Naruto said, "Why not? Gigi, leave this to us." Mei nodded while glancing at the fox. She said, "Naruto, you better make it out of this. Please, if I die, Hinata would bring me back just to kill me all over again. I don't need to die twice." Another 4-tailed fox approached them. "The color of this one is lavender. Naruto, if you think I'm letting you two go at him on your own, you're fucking insane." "Hinata?" inquired Sarutobi. "Lord Hokage, leave now. We will handle him. Go and lead the rest of them." He scowled at Orochimaru and said, "I don't plan on letting you die. Not now, not ever." He assumed a taijutsu stance and said, "Besides, I made a mistake regarding this one. I can't allow you to do anything about him without me." Orochimaru had to take responsibility after Naruto said, "Then bring out Enma, you old monkey." When Sarutobi saw this, he took action, and while the snake was down, Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata threw flames at him. Sarutobi what is? Screaming, "No time, adamantine bow staff," was Sarutobi. "All right. Change." Enma changed into the bow staff. "Wait, is that Orochimaru?" Yes, and it's time for us to correct the mistake I made all those years ago, Sarutobi yelled. He spit Kusanagi at Naruto, who deflected it with a tail enhanced by wind chakra, and charged at Orochimaru, who was now standing. He leapt back and made a few hand gestures, saying, "This is getting boring." Summoning. Reanimation. 1. One box materialized, preventing him from being struck by a fireball. 2. A wind dragon was blocked by another one that appeared. 3. The final one missed a green flaming bird because it was too high. Arc. A blonde male emerged from the one that shot into the air, prepared for battle, and landed beside Naruto. He said, "Sarutobi, where is my son? I know he's alive. Suzaku met me on the way down. You can thank Suzaku and the Shinigami for letting me out of his belly if I was summoned." Minato. The newcomer caught the blonde fox's attention. No, it couldn't be. Minato gave the blonde fox a look. No, my son couldn't have been. Dad, relax. This is similar to Arrow Sennin's hermit mode, only it's for the Kitsune summons. I can't take the Toad Sage mode, as I call it, or that of the Phoenix clan, replied Naruto. I am still myself, as you were yourself. Especially if Suzaku did get to you before Orochimaru could get you here. Minato gave Orochimaru a scowl. As much as I want to thank you for giving me full life once more, I'm afraid that traitors have no place here. Orochimaru spat, you can try, but will you fail? As the Shodai and Naidame Hokage emerged from the other two. Minato was standing beside the blonde fox. Dad, I don't really care for the specifics, but I found your hidden abode after a prank. I know of both parents, and I know that you were dead because of it. For now, you and I shall take on the Shodai and Naidame. Kitsune Sage mode gives me well over 10 times the strength, speed, and flexibility, along with a certain amount of tails. For me, it is different than others, for I am a Jinchuriki. The amount of tails I have is the amount of Yuki I can control from the Biju within. I have 6. As such, I can completely control 6 tails worth. That should be enough to work with. That's good to know. We'll talk more later. Naruto finished for him. We take down the zombies now, and they rushed forward. Minato charged the Shodai, and Hinata charged the Naidame with Naruto. As he leapt and transformed into a flaming bird, his voice changed to, "Feel the wrath of sky. Burn with heat of the sun, unleash the flames of the firebird. Phoenix Sage. One more phoenix." As Minato charged him, he was engulfed in green and orange flames. Hashirama Senju. I am sorry I have to do this to you, but I have no choice. Phoenix Art. Dead Soul Reversal. Minato said. Even though he veered slightly above Hashirama, the flames still struck him, turning his body entirely to ashes and expelling his soul. Minato turned to face Tobirama Senju, the Naidame Hokage, and saw his soul being torn apart by green flames. Hashirama Senju. I am sorry, but you must be burned by the flames of the sun to be free. He moved in Naruto's direction. My boy, how did you make the green flames? That should be unique to the Phoenix clan. Father, there is a difference between my flames and those of the Phoenixian alliance. The difference is mine happens to be from my mother. It is the sacred flame of the Uzumaki clan. Minato gave a head nod. We should help Sarutobi, he doesn't seem to be doing so well. Naruto glanced at Sasuke and Sarutobi, Dragon Summoner? And he's in his Sage mode, to boot. The dragons can do one thing, the Kitsune another, and the Phoenix a third. I have Phoenix, Kitsune, and Toads as summons. Hinata Hyuga, my current fiancé, has the Kitsune only. Sasuke Uchiha, a friend of mine, and someone I helped see the light, is of the Dragon Clan. We should help him out. Minato said, agreed, and they all rushed at Orochimaru. Green flames were all over Naruto. Sacred Flame Rocket. Orochimaru coughed up blood after he struck him dead in the torso. He extinguished the fire and turned around. Sarutobi. Sasuke. Hinata. Yelled Sasuke. Minato, she exclaimed. Naruto. He cried out loud. They all yelled, Extreme Flames Blast, simultaneously. Minato sprayed Orochimaru with flames. From each tail, Hinata hurled blue flames at him. Sasuke launched a beam that was surrounded by lightning, ice, and fire. In the form of a phoenix, Naruto released his sacred flame. Sarutobi's mouth released a fire dragon. Orochimaru was reduced to ashes because he was unable to avoid any of them in time. They all transformed back into people. As he collapsed onto his butt, Sarutobi said, That's one mistake taken care of. 3 more to go. Sarutobi, you are too old to do anything about two of them, and the third can be repaid through Minato. I know, but I have to pay for my mistakes. Gigi, you already paid for what you couldn't do for me, by giving me a spot on the council. It was worth it to see the civilian council squirm by a new guy, replied Naruto. Minato said, a spot on the council? Naruto said, Uzumaki seat. My mother's, apparently. With hope, Minato said, please tell me you didn't go for the CRA. I said it so that no one of my children would be forced to marry anyone they didn't want, nor would I, or my grandchildren, replied Naruto. I did extensive research and found that I could set my own terms for it, or I wouldn't be put under it. The council agreed, hoping that I would find someone in their families. I know when someone is forced to do something like that. There are no arranged marriages. Aside from one that I was thinking on before I knew of its existence. Minato pondered for a moment before going pale. What are you? Wait a minute. You mean that agreement that Heishi and I made while we were drunk? Yeah, that one. It's still a go. The Uzumaki blood protection seal was given to the Hyuga clan, and the caged bird seal was banned from usage, though the ban only took effect after the preliminaries. Naruto replied. Sarutobi gave Minato a look. Is there any chance of you retaking the mantle of Hokage? Minato placed his hand on Naruto's head and said, that's something I will think on. You are alive for the time being. I need to see what my son has accomplished so far. You wanted to help Naruto, and you failed at that. At that, Naruto sighed. I'll be honest and say that at least he tried. That's a lot better than most can say. Jiraiya touched down beside them. You do realize that I still have the Kage's body, right? Minato gave him a look. Sensei? Jiraiya asked again, Minato? They both said, what are you doing here, simultaneously? Helping my godson. What about you? You're supposed to be dead. Revived by Orochimaru, allowed to stay due to Suzaku. I doubt you've heard of her, but I'm aware of Suzaku, and the fact that she heads the Phoenix clan. Jiraiya responded, you can thank your son for that one. Minato inquired, what did you manage to do while I was dead? Naruto acknowledged, I think Suzaku should get that one. She'll explain the new alliance, and the threat we avenue on our end. Lord Hokage. You knew of Mei's arrival. As such, you obviously let her know about something. Well, I think it would be best if you talked to her about that, replied Naruto. Hinata. Sasuke. I think we should head to the Omnivolcano. It might help us talk there, and it is half neutral ground. Once there, we'll summon the bosses. We will talk there. It's better for the privacy. Jiraiya, you should come as well. Lord Hokage, you should stay here and run the village. If the council has a meeting, and I have not returned, then use one of the clones that I gave you. Sarutobi took a scroll out. You mean this? A nod was given to him. I haven't had to use one yet. Then there is still 3 of them. Use one. They should still be able to last 48 hours. With a half. Question, half. State, Minato said, you sealed clones of yourself. Yeah, and it works. Yeah, you are definitely a genius. Would you believe that it came off the top of my head? Or that same idea came at a random point in a fight against a traitor that wanted to kill me? What are you talking about? Naruto shrugged and said, the idea came as I was pounding Mizuki. Teme senseless. It was this. How could I use a clone, and make it so it can last for months on end? Maybe even years? The answer was a clone seal. I could seal up to 30 shadow clones, 50 water clones, 50 fire clones. I have not tried lightning or mud clones, and wind clones are too unstable to use it. It destroyed the seal from the inside, thus losing all the chakra put into the clones. No releasing it. No absorbing it. The chakra won't even turn into nature chakra. It won't turn into anything else. It's like it leaves into oblivion. At least you still get some of the chakra back when you destroy a scroll with a kunai sealed within. Anyway, we're wasting time. We should get going. Something tells me we'll need everything we've got and more real soon. Jiraiya said, with Orochimaru dead, all that's left is the Akatsuki. I'm still working on members. Kyodai Game has pinpointed their base. We'll talk about it at the next summons meeting. Anything else will wait until then. Naruto said. Jiraiya let out a sigh. Being told what to do by a 12-year-old kid. Where does the world stop turning? Before they all departed in smoke, Minato acknowledged, definitely not there. Then Tsunade touched down there. Sound and sand are retreating. With the loss of Orochimaru, some of the sound have surrendered, but only one refused to do either. He was beheaded by my fist. Jiraiya said, now's not the time for that. Oh? And it's time to ogle my breasts? Jiraiya gave Tsunade a serious look as she said, no time for that, either I'm afraid. Who are you and what did you do with Jiraiya? Jiraiya's expression was much more serious than Tsunade had ever seen it before. At this point, no one has any time with something like this on the line. Minato was revived by Orochimaru. Suzaku interfered. Minato is back indefinitely. This is no time for me to ogle your breasts, no matter how badly I want to. Tsunade gave him a back of the head bonk. With a tick mark on her forehead, she closed her eyes and said, "You're Jiraiya, okay, perverted bastard." Sarutobi said, "Now is not the time for that. Find Homura and Kaharu. The council and elders are to be frozen in all decisions until further notice from the Hokage. The clan heads are also included in this. No exceptions." Sarutobi got back to his feet as Jiraiya and Tsunade nodded. "May, we should get to my office soon. Discuss whatever it is he talked to you about. Obviously, it has something to do with me, or the village in general." With a secret smirk, she remarked, "Oh, trust me. It does. Sarutobi, far more than you realize. Much more than you realize."
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.